All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back inside the Macon Centreplex as your Macon Mayhem gets set to host the Fayetteville Marksmen for the third time this season. My name is Alex Von Coydel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network, on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming, and on YouTube. We're so glad you decided to join us for some Friday night hockey. Lots of Friday night hockey for the Mayhem of late. They had a game here last weekend that was one for the ages, a 3-goal second period, which resulted in a massive momentum shift, one of the largest of the season in Macon's favor, which they used to propel themselves over the third-place Pensacola Ice Flyers. Unfortunately, they could not complete the sweep down in Pensacola. However, they did manage to come away with their first road point of the 2019-20 season, a very much-needed and well-deserved point on the road for the Mayhem last Saturday night, going down to a notoriously difficult building to play in, the Pensacola Bay Center, to square off against one of the top teams in this league, and one of the stingiest teams in this league as well. That's a team that's extremely hard to score goals against. They always have been, and the Mayhem scored a late one off the stick of David Pulowski, set up on a cross-crease feed by Jarrett Cupp within the closing 4 minutes of play, which set up an overtime scenario. The Mayhem nearly forced a shootout against the Pensacola Ice Flyers, but a goal scored by Jesse Kessler in the final 11 seconds of OT would seal the Mayhem's fate. However, they do have one other thing to play for tonight, and that is the home streak that they are on. It's currently their longest home winning streak in franchise history. They've won their last 5 games in a row at the Macon Centreplex. As a matter of fact, the last time the Mayhem lost a home game was against the Fayetteville Marksmen, when they exploded for 3 goals within a span of 1:37 in the second period. So in 97 seconds, that's 3 goals the Marksmen scored against the Mayhem. The last time these teams faced, which was back on Saturday, December the 7th. That was the last time the Mayhem lost a game at home. Fayetteville, however, has been engaged in a high number of close games lately. 6 of their last 8 tilts have been decided in overtime or a shootout, including all of their last 3. They lost both decisions last weekend by a single goal in a home-and-home series with the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, but remained in tip-top shape in the standings by taking a point on each night. Historically, the Marksmen have struggled in games played here at the Macon Centreplex. This season, however, has been something of an anomaly. They've managed a 2-0-0 record, and they'll be eager to prolong that streak, while the Mayhem attempt to extend their streak, their longest home winning streak in franchise history, to what would be 6 games if they could win another one tonight. The return of Dylan Denemy has been well documented on Mayhem social media, as well as our Line Change show. This past Tuesday, he is set to make his return to action tonight. Dylan Denemy played for the Mayhem during the 2017-18 season. He practiced with the team for most of this week after being officially signed on Tuesday. He returns to Macon with a chip on his shoulder, like we said, playing during the 2017-18 campaign. He helped the team reach the President's Cup semifinals and registered a respectable 28 points in 40 total games played for the Mayhem between the 2017-18 campaign and the 2018 playoffs. He spent all of last season playing in Strasbourg for France's top professional league. The sizable forward will likely play an integral role for the Mayhem on the right side of the ice going forward. He is expected to don the number 96 this weekend and beyond. This weekend features 90s Night tonight and Marvel Superhero Night on Saturday. Denim novelty candles candies and more will be in store tonight, and specialty jerseys will be worn tomorrow. The jerseys have been sent to us. We received them at our office today, and they are looking pretty sharp. They are honestly even giving the Peanuts jerseys a run for their money. They are split down the middle, half and half, between the light side and the dark side of the Marvel superhero universe. So even if you're not a Marvel fan, you've got to appreciate the creativity that was put into those jerseys. Again, those will be worn tomorrow during the game and will be sold at a live auction in the Centreplex lobby immediately following tomorrow night's game. For the Mayhem, this will be game 27 of the 2019-20 regular season. They currently sit in 8th place in the SPHL, the 8th and final playoff seed currently held down by them. They cannot jump into 7th with a win tonight, but they can bring themselves within one single point of catching the Quad City Storm. Right now, the Mayhem with a record of 8, 15, and 3. A power play and a penalty kill that have been improving over the past couple of months, but the power play has hit a bit of a dry spell of late. It was really on a roll during Macon's 5-game home streak, but since then has cooled off considerably. The Mayhem have not scored a power play goal in 5 games. The penalty kill on the flip side has been remarkable. Macon's PK having fought off its last 13 consecutive situations. So the PK has risen all the way up to an 83.8% rate, which is far and away above what it was quite a bit earlier this season. The referee for tonight's game is going to be Cody Helbig, the linesmen William Bray and Michael Smith. This will be Macon's 3rd contest against the Fayetteville Marksmen this season. They have dropped each of them by a single goal on this ice. So redemption could be in store for the Mayhem tonight, which would also prolong a franchise record-long winning streak. So lots of things to play for the Mayhem tonight. We'll read you the starting lineups and more shortly, but first we'll take a look at our 3 keys of tonight's game. Number 1, minimizing turnovers. That's going to be crucial against a Fayetteville team that knows how to capitalize off of turnovers. Secondly, shutting down the Marksmen's top line. This unit with Brian Bowen and Max Cook is simply lethal. And Bowen right now leading the Marksmen in goals with 15 on the season. That's tied for the SPHL lead with 15, and then Max Cook leads the team with 17 assists. He is the playmaker, Bowen is the finisher, and together they work like a well-oiled machine. So numbers 12 and 13 are going to have to be contained by the Mayhem tonight. And finally, taking no shift off. We saw what happened when the Mayhem last faced the Marksmen back on December the 7th. They outplayed Fayetteville for the majority of the game, but during that 97-second span in which the Marksmen scored 3 times, that is what ultimately lost the Mayhem the game. So, taking no shift off, minimizing turnovers, and shutting down Fayetteville's top line. These have been your 3 keys of tonight's game. Before we read you starting lineups, who's hot, who to watch, and so much more, let's take a listen in from the head coach of the Macon Mayhem, who gives his thoughts at the onset of tonight's tilt. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network.
Like Ben was talking about, they're a good team. They have a bunch of guys called up right now, but even with kind of some replacements coming in and not really at his full roster, he's done a great job, and they're still winning games. So, they have forwards that are big and fast and can be physical, and they're really good off the rush. For me, I think a lot of it stems from their D-core. They move pucks well, so I think the key for us is being good on our forecheck, being physical, making them earn 200 feet every time and not turning the puck over. And we just have to make their life difficult for 60 minutes or we're going to be in trouble.
So you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, making Fayetteville's life difficult. And it wasn't one of the keys that we mentioned precisely, but it does go hand in hand with several of them. He said their strength stems from their D-core, and speaking of, they've got the SPHL's reigning defenseman of the year on their team, Travis Jake, who surprisingly, folks, has been fairly quiet, certainly has been by his standards, since really the home opener back on October 18th. That's not to say he hasn't contributed, because he certainly has contributed, but his only 2 goals this season came on opening night back on October the 18th, which was quite a while ago. And since then, he has not put the puck in the back of the net, but he does have a commendable 11 points through 19 games played. He's been used quite sparingly by the Marksman head coach, Jesse Kalecki. So interesting situation going on with Travis Jake at the moment, the Boston College product. And we'll see what he can do tonight against a team that he has had a good amount of success with, or against rather, in recent years. Speaking of Travis Jake, let's take a look at some of the players to watch tonight for both sides. For the Mayhem, a few players who are hot right now. Jarrett Cupp, we mentioned it earlier. He's got 6 points in his last 7 games. He now is tied for the team lead with 13 assists on the season, tied with Stephen Pirog, and ranks 3rd in the entire SPHL in assists by a defenseman. Jarrett Cupp has been lights out lately for the Mayhem. He is one of our players to watch on Macon's side. Secondly, David Pulowski. He's got a goal in each of his last 2 games. Had one against Pensacola at home last Friday. Had Macon's only goal against Pensacola down at the hangar last Saturday. So he's been on a nice little goal-scoring streak. David Pulowski is playing in his 8th game with the Mayhem here tonight. A native of Rochester, New York, from near where Coach Ryan Michael and Sean Lynch grew up. And finally, Josh Cousineau. He's gotten a goal and an assist in 2 games played against Fayetteville this season. He likes playing this team. This is one that he really considers to be one of his greater rivals, and he has answered the call every time he has played against the Marksmen this season, which is why, spoiler alert, he will be in the starting lineup tonight for the Mayhem. Taking a look at a few players to watch for Fayetteville. We mentioned Max Cook and Brian Bowen. They are each on the list. Cook's got 4 points in his last 2 games against Macon, both of which have been this season. 2 goals, 2 assists. He always brings it when he comes into this building. On his line, Brian Bowen tied for the SBHL lead with 15 goals this season. Number 12 in the white sweater. Certainly somebody the Mayhem will have to keep a close eye on. He knows how to put the puck in the back of the net and make you pay. And finally, an interesting addition to the Fayetteville Marksmen not long ago, playing in just his 3rd game for the Marksmen this season, is Matthew Robertson. He had 2 assists in his debut last weekend, and he's somebody who's got a lot of experience playing in this league. Matt Robertson is actually a former Mayhem. He was a defenseman here during the team's inaugural year. Other than Fayetteville's, he's older than Fayetteville's head coach. He's 31 years of age, also a former Louisiana Ice Gator and Fayetteville Fire Ant. This is his 11th professional season. So Matt Robertson, the graybeard of the Marksmen, so to speak, is our 3rd and final Marksman to watch here tonight. The starting lineup for the Fayetteville Marksmen is being announced right now by our public address announcer, Charles Olson. It will be as follows. Trevor Gorsuch gets the nod to start in net tonight. This will be just his 2nd game of the season. Blake Woitala given the night off. He, in all likelihood, will play tomorrow night unless Trevor Gorsuch absolutely blows the Mayhem out of the water tonight. But Blake Woitala has certainly been the go-to starter for Jesse Kalecki this season since the departure of Danny Taroni to the ECHL. Gorsuch has served as Woitala's backup, but he has gotten the nod to go tonight. On defense will be Cody Schwartz and Josh Victor. Schwartz with dual German-Canadian citizenship, playing his 1st game against the Mayhem this season. He's only played in 2 for the Marksmen, had an assist in his debut 1 week ago. Did not play last season, spent the previous year in Germany's 2nd league, and this is his 1st pro campaign in North America. Up front, Taylor McCloy, Tim Keelick, and John Gustafson, who is making his Marksman debut. This has been Fayetteville's starting lineup. They currently sit in 4th place in the SBHL, tied for 3rd with the Pensacola Ice Flyers, but Pensacola has the tiebreaker. And the Marksmen right now with a record of 14-3-6. Lots of overtime losses. That's tied for the most in the SPHL. And a huge chunk of those have been recently, folks. Like we said, so many of their games in the past couple of weeks have gone to extra time. 6 of their last 8 games required more than 60 minutes to resolve. So this is a team that plays very competitive hockey. They've only lost 3 games in regulation all season, which is tied with the Peoria Rivermen for fewest in the entire league. This team knows how to compete, and the Mayhem will undoubtedly have to bring it tonight. The Mayhem, meanwhile, still pretty banged up. What with the absence of Danny Caesar, of course, who is on the 21-day IR. He is nearing a return, but is still at least a week away. And then Caleb Cameron, of course, who's probably on a similar timeline, I would say, possibly a little bit longer. And he's been behind the bench a couple of times, helping Coach Ryan Michael with the defense and whatnot. Caleb Cameron, of course, somebody who would be very coveted in this situation when the Mayhem only have 5 defensemen. Zach Urban is still with the South Carolina Stingrays in the ECHL, so the Mayhem only with 5 defensemen tonight. Caleb Cameron is somebody who is very versatile. It's kind of the team's Swiss Army knife, and is able to play back there in those situations, but he will obviously not be available tonight, so the Mayhem will have no choice but to just roll with 5 defensemen. Of course, the good news in light of that is that they can roll with 11 forwards. So they will almost have 4 full forward lines rolling tonight against Fayetteville. The Mayhem starting lineup will be announced momentarily at the Macon Centreplex. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We hope you've enjoyed your Friday wherever you might be, and we hope that this game, whether it's the outcome or the broadcast or both, makes your Friday that much more enjoyable. Live from Middle Georgia at the Macon Centreplex, Alex Von Koidel, thrilled to have you with us for some Friday night hockey at the Macon Centreplex. 90s night here in Macon. The Mayhem looking for their 6th consecutive win on home ice. They're coming off of a very impressive 3-2 victory over the Pensacola Ice Flyers, which they achieved last Friday, their last home game 1 week ago today. A 3-goal second period, which launched the Mayhem to what would ultimately be a 3-2 decision. The starting lineup being announced right now for the Mayhem. Alex de Oliveira started the season with the Peoria Rivermen and the Quad City Storm. Leads the Mayhem in plus-minus with a +5 rating. He has gotten the go-ahead to start on defense alongside his D partner, Jarrett Cupp, who has been on fire of late. There's really no other way to put it. 6 points in his last 7 games for a defenseman. That is simply remarkable. And Josh Cousineau, Macon's graybeard in his 6th SPHL season with his 3rd team. Won back-to-back President's Cup championships in 2015 and 2016 with Knoxville and Pensacola, respectively. He will be flanked by the young gun out of Utica College, Sean Lynch. He's been on a mainstay on this roster for his rookie professional season. And Dylan Denemy getting a warm welcome back to the Macon Centreplex to a loud round of applause. And of course, Kevin Etma is the goaltender who will start tonight's game for the Mayhem. 20 games played this season for Macon, 2nd most in the SPHL behind only Birmingham's Art Bry. Every time the team has won a game this season, Kevin Etma has been in net. Certainly a display of confidence by Ryan Michael to put Dylan Denemy in the starting lineup. He fully believes in him and what he can bring to the table, though he has not played in a single game this season. Dylan Denemy played at an extremely high level in France's top professional league last year. He skated with the team all week, and Coach Michael has told me, quote, he is more than ready. The singing of our country's national anthem will be next. In the meantime, we're going to take a brief pause for the cause on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back momentarily, folks. Keep it right here on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming and on YouTube. That was Lisa Gable singing our country's national anthem here on 90s night at the Macon Centreplex. The Mayhem hoping to win their 6th consecutive game on home ice this season, hosting an opponent they have not beaten yet. since last year. The Fayetteville Marksmen, a team that they've had remarkable success over the course of their 5 seasons here in Macon, but this season they've not been able to get the monkey off their back and defeat a team that they've traditionally been able to play pretty well against at their own barn. They have played well against the Marksmen this season, but have not come away with 2 points in a single game yet. They did come away with a point on opening night. However, Travis Jake saw to it that the visitors would come away with a 3-2 overtime decision. He scored 2 of the Marksmen's 3 goals, including the overtime winner. But he has not put a puck in the back of the net since. The Mayhem hoping for win number 9 on the season. Fayetteville going for win number 15. This is Macon's 27th game of the 2019-20 regular season, currently sitting in 8th place in the SPHL. With a win tonight, they can draw to within just a point of the Quad City Storm for the 7th spot. The referee for tonight's game is Cody Helbig. The linesmen are William Bry and Michael Smith. The opening faceoff will take place between Josh Cousineau and Tim Keelick in the neutral zone. The Zamboni doors are shut, and we're just about underway for some Friday night hockey. This 2-game series is just moments away from kicking off. Cody Helbig will drop the puck. Josh Cousineau and Tim Keelick will battle for it. Keelick played in all but 3 games last season for Jesse Kalecki and the Marksmen. He's played in all 23 this season. The puck drops. Keelick wins the opening draw, and this game is underway. As Cody Schwartz slides it to his left for Josh Victor, who rims it around the boards. It's been halted by Kevin Etma inside of the Macon trapezoid and reversed over to Jarrett Cupp on the far corner. Touched quickly up the ice, and Josh Cousineau up to Dylan Denemy has whacked it back to Cousineau, who splits one off the stick of Sean Lynch, redirects it into Fayetteville territory, and Trevor Gorsuch wraps it around to the near half wall. Put down in below the net for Lynch, who tries to center one. It's intercepted by John Gustafson, and here come the Marksmen the other direction. Down the right wing side skates Taylor McCloy, who sends it off the backboards. It caroms right into the glove of Kevin Etma, who hangs onto it and takes a whistle. Taylor McCloy is somebody who did not make the Who to Watch list for us tonight, but somebody who the Mayhem will probably want to keep a close eye on nonetheless. He leads the SPHL with a +19 rating, played in 3 seasons with Kevin Etma at Adrian College. He's coming off a strong rookie campaign with Fayetteville. He's been a point-per-game player this season. And the faceoff will take place to Etma's left, his glove side. The Mayhem win this one, and Ben Campbell will carry in behind his own net and shovel it out to the half wall, redirected out past the blue line by Stepan Timofeyev, and now it's been rimmed back in quickly. Etma behind his net to stop it. He dekes and then rolls it around to Josh Keplinger, who is squeezing the half wall on the near side, has it bounce off his hip. The Marksmen were recovered in the neutral zone. Now Alec Marsh spirits one ahead, and entering the attacking zone, Travis Jake for Fayetteville. Turned it over at the blue line. The Mayhem make a quick breakout pass. Timofeyev right up the gut. He fires, just missed the left post, and it bounces off the backboards. Jake failed to clear it, and now it's twisted back in behind the net by David Pawlowski. Trevor Gorsuch put his stick on it, but couldn't stop it completely. All the same, the Marksmen have gotten it out of their own zone. A stutter step by Alec Marsh, in front of the Macon bench, and he has lost possession of it. Stephen Pirog begins to forecheck for the Mayhem. Don Oliveri sends it up the left side, and it's been redirected into the opposite corner now on the near side, and Zemlitska attempts to clear it. Max Cook holds it in the zone. Caroms off the far corner boards, played quickly back by Pirog, and Zemlitska had to be alert there. It's Bowen pickpocketing him and carrying it out to the far half wall. That was Jarrett Cupp, Bowen circles into the slot, looks to pull the trigger. He fires, it's blocked, and it pinballs out to the line. It could not be held by Don Oliveri. The Marksmen are delayed offside. Will have to go to the bench for a line change. In the meantime, the Mayhem take over behind their own bench, or own net with 2 minutes having expired here in period number 1. Jarrett Cupp begins the breakout for the Mayhem. It's the team's highest scoring defenseman this season with 16 points. He banks it off the backboards, hoping for a friendly carom. Ultimately, it finds Pirog, who centers it, but the Mayhem were in the middle of a line change, so nobody was home, and now it's John Gustafson for Fayetteville. Overskates it in the neutral zone. Marcus Ortiz driving down his off wing. Shouldered off the puck, goes into the end wall, fighting for it with help from Cousineau, but the Marksmen are the ones who end up with it. Josh Victor down the left wall. He will advance it up to the red line and put it into the middle for Taylor McCloy. Batted off his stick, and it's been blasted in by John Gustafson, who's making his Marksman debut tonight. Alex de Oliveira has it on his stick as he breaks it out from behind his own net to his left for Campbell. Up the middle he goes. Cousineau entering the attacking zone. Leaves it. Lynch tries to find it back to Campbell. Lynch gets it back and shoots. Redirected on goal by Cousineau. Stick save. And a turnaround shot by Denemy is also denied by Trevor Gorsuch, who holds onto it in his crease. Gorsuch tested a couple of times early here by the Mayhem, and Dylan Denemy putting his first shot on goal since returning. Wearing this uniform for the first time since the 2017-18 season. Certainly a welcome addition, or a welcome return, we'll say, to the Mayhem, Dylan Denemy. He is on the ice now on the left side. He and Sean Lynch have switched positions for this offensive zone draw to open up the one-timer opportunity. And Ben Campbell will do well to hold it in the zone, but it looks as though it might have squeaked over the line, so the Mayhem on a delayed offside, and Fayetteville will take over. Entering the attacking zone, Brett Johnson, who flings it wide of the far post. Travis Jake, far half wall, will try to drop it in behind the net, intended for Marsh, but was picked off, and Larry Smith will exit his own zone. Big hit thrown in neutral ice by Oscar Arfelt, and getting back onto his skates now is Sean Lynch. He will skate back to the Macon bench. Doesn't appear to be disoriented. He seems to be fine. Sean Lynch, one tough kid. He's endured a lot of duress on his body over the course of this season, and he never gives up. He just keeps coming back and playing hard every game. Kevin Etma holding onto the puck that bounced his way from a neutral zone dump in. So the faceoff will be to his left. Max Cook will be featured against Macon's captain, Stephen Pirog. Captain against captain in the near circle of the Macon zone here. The puck drops and the home captain wins the draw. Now it's Jarrett Cupp, whose attempted clear bounces dangerously in front of Etma's net, and it's turned over to Matt Robertson, who gives it to Cook. He will bounce it into the bottom of the circle, whacked aside by Pirog. The Mayhem failed to clear it, held alive by Jake, who missed the shot from the left point, and now it's played by Sumalides, hoisted way up in the air. It lands in the Fayetteville slot. Nicholas Sage banks it off the dashers on the far side. Now Stephen Pirog will carry it back into his own zone and give it to Jarrett Cupp, who will backhand it to Sumalides. He floats it into the slot. Chamello was there, but it was knocked aside. Pirog picks it up, shoots. Glove saved by Trevor Gorsuch. Left circle shot by Stephen Pirog, robbed by the glove hand of the Fayetteville goaltender. 15:43 to go in period one. No score at the Macon Centreplex. Again, thanks so much for joining us, everyone on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We're thrilled to have you with us. There will be an offensive zone faceoff for the Mayhem coming up here in the left circle. Seems as though the bulk of the play has happened on the near side of the ice on your screen on SPHL Live. Trevor Gorsuch has played well so far. Been tested a few times by the Mayhem. Decent scoring opportunities. Puck's been chiseled off the glass and down into Macon ice. It's recovered by Cupp before Alec Marsh could get to it, but Marsh steals it, plays it in the slot, and loses it back to Cupp, who will slide it over to Josh Keplinger on his right. Keplinger from his off wing will backhand it down into Fayetteville territory. It's been shoveled further by Trevor Gorsuch around beyond the point and into Alex de Oliveira's wheelhouse. He slides it over to Campbell, who fires it into Fayetteville territory. Gorsuch steers it to the far corner. And now it's Josh Victor. Ben Campbell couldn't hold the line, just barely crossed over the blue line, so an offside is called against the Mayhem. Exactly 15 minutes remain here in period one. No score at the Macon Centreplex. And 5 minutes have expired. And it seems as though Trevor Gorsuch has been the busier of the two goaltenders so far in the early going. He's had to make a pair of pretty strong saves, the best of which came on a shot from Stephen Pirog in the left circle of the Fayetteville zone. And a good glove snag on Gorsuch. He also made a pretty nice save on a redirected shot taken by Sean Lynch, and then a rebound by Dylan Denemy, getting his first real taste of game-time hockey this season. And Coach Michael did express it. He expected it to take a little bit before Dylan Denemy was back into the full swing of things, just because he has not played yet this season. So game speed, you can do all you want in practice to try to replicate it. It's just not possible to do. So he's going to try to give him as much ice time here as he can to get him reacclimated to the speed. Josh Kuzno to take a neutral zone draw. Denemy is there to try to advance it into Fayetteville territory, but it's Keelik who ended up with it. He will send it back to Travis Jake behind his own net. Dylan Denemy forechecking. He tries to steal the puck from him. Jimmy's it loose, and it's Kuzno flinging it across the crease. Far half wall, cup shot, redirects through the blue paint. Out to the near half wall, given back to DeOliveira at the left point. Can't get his shot through. And in the near corner, they fight for it. Denemy throws a pretty good-sized hit into the half wall, and DeOliveira gives it back to Denemy. Near corner. He gets physical with Travis Jake. The two of them roughing each other up in the corner on the near side. Meanwhile, escaping with it is Tim Keelik, who will float it out into the neutral zone. Sean Lynch gets rid of it and will skate to the Macon bench along with the rest of his line to complete a change. 14-14 to go here in period one. No score at the Macon Centreplex. Macon's had the edge in shots on goal so far. Travis Jake down the right side. Boston College product. Backhands a pass on the tape for a shot coming off the stick of Brett Johnson that just whistled wide of the right post. Now it's Stephen Pirog. Pirog drops it. Larry Smith has it. Sends it off the near board. Sumalitas in the neutral zone. He advances it to Pirog. Pirog drops it. Timofeyev gets it to Sumalitas, who shoots it over the crossbar. Karam's off a stanchion behind the net, and the Marksmen have cleared it. Brian Bowen at center. Good pass to Spring Max Cook down the left side. Cook to the goal. He stops. He turns. Lost a handle on it. Smith is there trying to knock it aside. And finally, the whistle blows, and it looks as though the puck was played with a high stick, at least according to Charles Olson, our public address announcer, so that's what we'll go with. 13.5 to play here in period one. No score at the Macon Centreplex. There will be a neutral zone draw near the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box here. And it will feature David Pulowski and Max Cook. Cook leads the Marksmen in assists this season with 17. It's Nicholas Sage dumping it in behind the Macon goal line. Larry Smith's clearing attempt succeeds as Josh Keplinger was able to help him out. Anton Lindstrom, the Swedish-born power forward, sends a nice pass on the stick of Keplinger, but he bobbled it, and here comes Don Oliveira on a counterattack. He will drop it to Bowen with a toe drag. His shot gets blocked, and Lindstrom will circle back with it and take it in behind his own net. Anton Lindstrom has it on his backhand. He's harassed all the while and pickpocketed as a result. But he's able to interrupt the pass from Max Cook, and here comes Pulowski the other way. Pulowski slides it on goal from center ice and goes to the Macon bench. It's dealt aside by Trevor Gorsuch and played in the far corner by Alec Marsh. Here's Nick Lesage. He's been on the ice for a while. Check that, Josh Victor, who takes a hit from Keplinger, gets rid of it. Oscar Arfelt now floats it over to Victor on his left. Victor in front of the far half wall, sends a diagonal pass on the tape of the former Mayhem Darius Davidson, who tries to dangle by Cup and cut to the inside, but he lost the puck in doing so. DeOliveira outlets one to his right. Dylan Denemy's got it, far half wall. He rolls a pass behind the skates of Sean Lynch and into Fayetteville ice. Davidson will spear one the other direction. Here comes Shane Bednard. Bednard, the Bowling Green product, sends a pass into the slot. Entma makes the save with his blocker on Cody Schwartz's bid. But the Mayhem not out of danger yet. Bednard turns the corner, takes it in behind the net, and slips it in front. And the Mayhem swarm Alec Marsh. Don't allow him to get a shot on goal. Jarrett Cupp has nobody to pass to, really. Just tries to shovel it out of harm's way. He just barely gets it past the blue line. Kuzno will go to the Macon bench to complete a change. The Marksmen hammer it right back in. Both teams in the middle of changes as DeOliveira receives it from Kevin Entma behind the Macon cage. Alex DeOliveira up to Stephen Pirog. Plays it to himself off the half wall. Still has it and dumps it in behind the Fayetteville goal line. It's halted by Trevor Gorsuch. Gorsuch will leave one in the near corner. A huge hit thrown there by Denemy, who sets up Sumalitas, who fires, and a glove save is made by Gorsuch. That was Pirog, I beg your pardon, who threw the big hit. And that big hit has been brought to you by Harrison's Body Shop Collision Repair. Sumalitas with the shot from the circle, denied by Gorsuch. And we're still scoreless here at the Macon Centreplex with 11:19 to go in period one. The Mayhem will go to an offensive zone face-off with their top forward line out there, featuring Stephen Pirog and Stathis Sumalitas and their leading goal scorer, Marcus Ortiz. The puck drops. Fayetteville has cleared it immediately. The pass from Gustafson was intended for McCloy. Gustafson left circle has it. Wrist shot blocked by Wojtek Zemlitska. And the former Ice Bear can't get it, or rather Rail Yard Dog can't get it out of the zone. And now it's going to be played by John Gustafson. In the slot with a toe drag and a shot, he scores. John Gustafson, in his Fayetteville debut, has scored first for the Marksmen with a mini toe drag and a wrist shot from the mid slot. Looked like possibly beat Kevin Entma through the 5-hole and has given the visitors a 1-0 lead. Just 9:05 into this contest. It's 1-0 Marksmen. Gustafson, a Merrimack College graduate, another former Mayhem defenseman. Played 15 games here during the 2017-18 season, spent the last couple of years in the ECHL. Icing has just been called against the Mayhem. Macon will go to a defensive zone draw to Entma's right, his blocker side. And Max Cook couldn't come away with the puck following an offensive zone face-off attempt. Pawlowski up to Keplinger, who will dump it on goal, and it's gloved by Trevor Gorsuch, who hangs onto it. Taylor McCloy and Don Oliveri getting assists on the goal scored by Gustafson. Don Oliveri, somebody who's been in this league for a long time as well. He's the epitome of a journeyman. It's his 5th pro season. In that time, he's been with 12 different franchises, never staying anywhere for longer than 36 games. Pawlowski chips one into the Fayetteville zone. Josh Victor, sized up by Keplinger, coming away with it. Cody Schwartz, the German-born defenseman, slides it up the slot to Darius Davidson, who's cleared the zone. Neutral ice, it's Ben Campbell. Up to Chamello, who's pickpocketed by Shane Bednar. He will carry into the far corner of the Bowling Green product. His pass into the middle, picked off by Pawlowski. Pawlowski up to Michael Chamello, who will just dump it into the Fayetteville zone. Trevor Gorsuch has it. He fakes left. Rather faked right and went left, and now it's Davidson down the right side. We'll roll one around the end wall, and Ben Campbell advanced it up to Stepan Timofeyev. He gloves it out of midair. They're going to say it's a hand pass. As the whistle blows, Cody Helbig saw that, and we're going to head to our second media timeout of this game. 1-0 Fayetteville, your score through the first 10:24 here at the Macon Centreplex. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks. We hope you're enjoying your evening. We're going to take a brief pause on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Keep it right here on SPHL Live and on YouTube.
Are you looking to raise some money for a cause and have a blast while doing it? The Mayhem would be happy to help you out through our fundraiser program, available for all home games throughout the season. You buy tickets from us for $10 each, you sell them for $15, and you keep the remaining $5 per ticket sold for whichever cause your heart desires. If you were to sell 50 tickets, for example, you would collect $250 for your fundraiser. Call our office at 478-803-1592 for more information.
Neutral zone draw in front of the Macon bench. 10:24 has expired in period 1. The visitors have a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a goal scored by John Gustafson in his Marksman debut just moments ago to break the ice. Cousineau through the middle. Timofeyev attempted a return pass. It went off a Fayetteville stick and pinballed behind the net. Max Cook is there to scoop it up. The Marksman able to eke it over their own blue line, and Travis Jake has it now on his own end. He is forced around the net by Stepan Timofeyev, and then he shoots it up the ice onto the stick of Max Cook. Cook will fly it on the left wing and step into the slot, dropped it off for a wrist shot, chest save by Entma, who denied Oscar Arfelt from the long-range attempt. Timofeyev attempting to win possession back. Oscar Arfelt has it out at center. He will slide it to Don Oliveri, his defensive partner for the time being. Oliveri carries it in behind his own goal. Goes up the middle with a nice pass onto the stick of Tim Kielik. He will bounce one into the right corner. Wojtek Zemlitska goes after it. He's beaten to it by Taylor McCloy. Tim Kielik near corner. Tries to slide it back to the blue line. It went off of the stick of Wojtek Zemlicka. Now it's Marcus Ortiz. Rifled it on goal from 100 feet. Blockered aside easily by Trevor Gorsuch. Now it's Pirog turning and firing. Whistles just wide of the left post. Zemlicka put it back behind the net. Goes over the stick of Ortiz. Pirog goes after it. Sumilidis from the far point. Couldn't hold the zone. The puck bounces out to the Mayhem logo at center ice. Zemlicka bounces one up ice. It's Ortiz entering the Fayetteville zone. He delays and fires. It gets blocked. And the Marksmen swarm the puck immediately, and it's been lofted over Larry Smith. Recovered by DeOliveira and given to David Pulowski. It's DeOliveira at the red line. Puts it onto the stick of Josh Keplinger, who goes wide left side. His shot from a tough angle is sticked aside by Trevor Gorsuch. From the right point, Jarrett Kupp's pass is interrupted by Shane Bednar. Given now to Keplinger in the far corner. With his head up, sends it cross crease. DeOliveira from the circle, just missed the right post with his shot. Jarrett Kupp sends it behind the net again. Dylan Denemy is wrapped up. He goes into the corner to get it. Dylan Denemy twists, tries to center it. It's interrupted by Don Oliveri and hoisted out. Alex DeOliveira bounces it off the neutral zone boards. Denemy centered it. Keplinger shoulders off of a defenseman and then passes it to himself in the high slot. Had his shot go off of Fayetteville skate. David Pulowski twisted in front. Great pass, but the shot just misfires. That was Josh Keplinger. I think the shot might have been blocked. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. David Pulowski hoping for his first assist with the Mayhem from that beautiful no-look behind-the-back pass, but the shot from Keplinger just got blocked, it looked like, and flew out of play. So the Mayhem do an offensive zone face-off. It'll be in the far circle, the right circle of the Fayetteville zone. Won by Cousineau, back to Zemlicka. He loses the puck, but pursues it in the far corner. It's been shoveled back in front and will be cleared, it looks like, by Josh Victor. Down the left side skates Matt Robertson. He steps into the circle. Robertson pulls up and shoots. It gets blocked, but the Mayhem unable to capitalize on what could have been a 3-on-2 counterattack. Marksman still in the attacking zone. Whiffing on the shot was Cody Schwartz, and here come the Mayhem. Possible 2-on-1. Lynch to the goal. Lindstrom the pass. Intercepted by Cody Schwartz, who made up for his mistake. Now a counterattack for Fayetteville. It's Matt Robertson, who drops it to Cook. Cook's pass to Schwartz, whose shot is denied by Entma. What a turn of events that would have been. If Cody Schwartz would have finished that off, it would have been a full circle situation. He mishandled the puck at the blue line, and the Mayhem commenced a quick 2-on-1 transition. And Cody Schwartz is the one who ultimately disrupted the centering pass from Lindstrom to Lynch. And then at the other end, he nearly scored. Tim Keelik against Stephen Pirog, the 11s, battling in the face-off circle. Won by the one in the Navy sweater, Stephen Pirog. Ortiz's pass was broken up by Cody Schwartz. Schwartz has it in his own zone and sends it right up the middle, redirected into the Macon end by Brett Johnson, played by Entma. Smith accelerates it around the boards, and here's Stathis Sumilidis. Giving it to Stephen Pirog. He will fire. It gets blocked and pinballs right to Trevor Gorsuch. Nicholas Sage blocked it with his stick and bore the brunt of the Pirog shot for his goaltender, Trevor Gorsuch. Pirog couldn't win the face-off this time. He's been excellent tonight, but was bested in that scenario. Delayed penalty upcoming against Macon for a high stick. Marcus Ortiz will be escorted to the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box, and for the first time tonight, there will be a Fayetteville power play. Last time these teams met, Fayetteville had a disproportionate number of power plays compared to Macon. Marksmen had 6 opportunities on the man advantage. The Mayhem had just 3. Fortunately for the Mayhem, they managed to kill off all 6 Fayetteville power plays the last time this team was here. So it's a high sticking infraction called against Marcus Ortiz, who comes into this game leading the Mayhem in penalty minutes. He's now up to 46 on the season. Travis Jake in the deep slot. Gives it to Max Cook, Brian Bowen. Now Cook has it and will set up Jake at the left point. His pass reaches Matt Robertson in the near circle. Robertson twists it down to the near corner. It's been coughed up by Gustafson. The Mayhem get a short-handed opportunity here. Sean Lynch is fed a bouncing pass by Cousineau and was heavily outnumbered, had no choice but to just try to dump it. It went off of a stanchion and caromed into the bottom of the near circle. Travis Jake scoops it up for Fayetteville. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air. Here's an opportunity for Dylan Denemy, right down the slot. Denemy shoots, scores! Welcome back to Mactown, Dylan Denemy. His first game here in nearly 2 years, and he snipes a shorthanded goal, Macon's first shorthanded goal of the season, and it's a 1-1 game. That is a high-end shot, folks. And Ryan Michaels said he was more than ready to return. He was not kidding. It was just an absolute laser over the glove of Trevor Gorsuch. Dylan Denemy with an unassisted shorthanded goal. Just the 10th shorthanded goal in Mayhem franchise history and the first of the season. Oscar Arfelt gains the red line, coughs it up. Cousineau steals it. He could get a breakaway. Hustling back is Oliveri. Cousineau has to turn and is then thrown into the half wall on the far side. A clean hit delivered by Oliveri. And the Marksmen will have to reset. 38 seconds to go on the high sticking infraction called against Marcus Ortiz. There's Oscar Arfelt for Fayetteville. Goes to his left with the pass, and it's Brian Bowen. Gallops and across the blue line. I beg your pardon, Shane Bednard, who will attempt to drop it back to the line. It's intercepted by Sumalitas and cleared all the way down. Trevor Gorsuch carries it behind his own net. Will drop it. And now here comes Brian Bowen for Fayetteville. Up to Max Cook. Cook down the right wall, centers for Bowen, who tries to put it in front, bounces right to Timofeyev, who has on his stick now, wobbles it out to the red line. And that's done it. Marcus Ortiz has been let out of the penalty box. The Mayhem have returned to full strength. They've improved to 1-for-1 on the J&J's Heating and Air penalty kill and scored a shorthanded goal to boot. Timofeyev down the right side. He's joined by Keplinger, who goes to the goal. That's an offside called against Macon. And Stepan Timofeyev had no choice but to dangle at the blue line before entering the zone. It resulted in an offside. 3:25 to go here in the first. 1-1 your score. The first goal was scored by John Gustafson, who's making his Marksman debut. The next was scored by Dylan Denemy, who, while he may not be making his Mayhem debut, is playing his first game here in 2 seasons. So very a memorable goal scored on both sides to start this game. We're going to take a brief pause in the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Again, 1-1 your score with 3:25 to go. When we come back, we'll finish period 1 at the Macon Centreplex. We'll be right back, folks.
The beloved Family 4-Pack is back. The Mayhem are offering this incredibly affordable package for several games throughout the season. For just $50, you receive 4 tickets and a $30 gift card to Texas Roadhouse at 5080 Riverside Drive right here in Macon. The dates for these 4-pack nights will be announced on social media as they become finalized, so be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for all the most up-to-date content.
Mayhem winning the neutral zone draw and quickly dumping it into Fayetteville ice. A bit of a mishap by goaltender Trevor Gorsuch, but he recovered in time. He's got to get the water bottle back into his net as it had fallen off the top of it. And Josh Keplinger receives the pass from Oscar Arfelt and will wheel down the left side. He slips it past Cody Schwartz. It's going to be Josh Victor for Fayetteville, pinned to the end wall by Keplinger and wrapped around near half wall. Corralled by Stepan Timofeyev, who tries to twist one into the slot, intercepted, but the Marksman can't clear it. Pawlowski's shot blocked by Kielik. And now it's John Gustafson who scored Fayetteville's lone goal in this game, able to clear it out in front of the Macon bench. Jarrett Cupp in his own zone with 2.5 to play, a 1-1 tie on our hands at the Macon Centreplex. Alex D'Oliveira. One off the stick of Denemy. It's taken off his blade immediately in the neutral zone and carried back into Macon territory by Brett Johnson. Johnson's pass finds Bednard, who attempts to center. Nobody was there except for Pirog, who will join Denemy on a rush back into Fayetteville ice. Pirog will chip it to himself off the half wall. Look to wrap it around. His shot denied. Loose puck on the doorstep, cleared as far as the circle. Lindstrom puts it in front, tipped wide by Denemy. Nearly had his second of the period just then. Now it's Nicholas Sage. Can't get it past Campbell. He put it behind the net. It straddled Denemy, went between his skates. Kuzno back to the line, taken by Lindstrom, given back to Kuzno, who twists. Josh Kuzno into the deep slot. Ben Campbell sets up a long screen shot off the crossbar. Stays out. The washout signal being given by the referee, Cody Helbig. And the Marksmen have cleared it. 100 seconds to go in period one. 1-1 your score. Ben Campbell nearly scoring his first goal with the Mayhem through a beautiful screen shot that just grazed the looked like the inside of the right elbow of the goal. Now it's Kuzno from the red line. Didn't get it very far. Oscar Arfeld's pass is picked off by Campbell and whacked the other way. Marcus Ortiz hoping to play it off the carom. He lifts the stick and gets to it first. He will then drop it into the corner played by Sean Lynch, who's wrapped up right now by Travis Jake. Speared free, Max Cook fights for it. Loosened behind the net, and Jake slips one through. Now it'll be a race down the left wing by Tim Keelik. He tries to center, finds Bowen. His shot blocked by Smith. Bowen gets back on it and fires well wide of the goal. And it's Jarrett Cupp who's able to roll one up to Marcus Ortiz, who just chips one out into the Fayetteville zone. 1 minute remains here. Now we're down to about 40 seconds, as a matter of fact. Cook, bottom of the right circle, toe dragging a shot. Entma the save. And now it's jammed out to the red line at center ice and played by Nicholas Sage, who will rattle one counterclockwise around the Macon end wall. Jarrett Cupp with a bit of an overskate. It's taken away from him by Alec Marsh. But the Mayhem have bounced it back out to the opposing blue line, 18 seconds. Brett Johnson for Fayetteville. He has it behind his own goal. Perhaps will allow time to expire here. Stephen Pirog decides to forecheck, and that'll just about do it. 2 seconds. Period one has come to an end. A goal scored by John Gustafson to kickstart this game was answered by Macon's first shorthanded goal of the season off the stick of Dylan Denemy, who in his first game back has already made his presence known in emphatic fashion. He ripped it right over the glove of Trevor Gorsuch on an unassisted shorthanded breakaway in which it appeared the Fayetteville defenseman was closing on him. He did not have as much room as it seemed to release that shot, but he took exactly as many strides as he needed to be comfortable in sniping it over Trevor Gorsuch's glove, and that's exactly what he did. What a return it's already been for Dylan Denemy. Even if the rest of this game does not go very well for him, I think it's safe to say that his return home to Macon has been a success for him. He has scored the team's first shorthanded goal of the season, helped out on the penalty kill substantially, and got the team level heading in to our first intermission of this game. So again, 1-1 your score. Shots on goal fairly low, just 8-7 in favor of Macon. Again, the first goal scored by John Gustafson, the next scored by Dylan Denemy, each of whom are playing in their first games this season. So a big night for the two of them. We're going to take a timeout here on the Mayhem Broadcast Network, folks. When we come back, we'll break down some scores from around the SPHL, break down that first period for you in greater detail, and so much more. But in the meantime, please enjoy our Monday morning interview on the Creek segment with the Mayhem captain, Stephen Pirog, with our official radio promotional partner, 100.9 The Creek. That interview coming your way next in the Mayhem Broadcast Network, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back before you know it.
Monday morning, back to a life of sin, story of our life, 100.9, the Creek Real Music, Real Radio, Creekside Mornings with Tony and Charles.
I don't like to sin on the weekends.
Save it for Monday.
Monday is a different day.
It is Monday morning. That means it's time to talk some hockey
Yeah,
with
man.
Alex Von Coyle.
Von Coyle, the voice. From Alex Von Coyle, the voice. Voice. From Alex Von Coyle, the voice. Wait, voice. Alex Von Coyle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we say,
Yeah.
too.
That's how we look at it, too. Yeah.
Pretty
Alex
much
has
everyone's
his own
having the same
intro.
reaction for the most part.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Me too.
Let's talk some hockey from this weekend. Friday night. What a great game, man.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Straight up, what a great game.
Yep. It was our best crowd of the season by a pretty good bit.
Good.
And we gave them the reward that they deserved. I mean, they were
Yes.
just that crowd, that atmosphere was just unbelievable on Friday night. And that second period swing in momentum, and where I think we scored 3 goals in less than 5 minutes, and had a fight. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you can't ask for much more than
No,
that.
it was an exciting 5 minutes right there.
Offense
Yep.
and a
It's-
good knockdown?
Yeah, it was, and that's a good team. Pensacola is a very good team this year. I'd put them up there with Evansville and Fayetteville as the best or the most improved teams in our league this season.
And their goalie, I had heard was an NHL draft pick.
Yeah, 2015 San Jose Sharks, Jake Kupski.
Yeah, he was a tough goalie. So to put 3 in on him was a nice night Friday night.
Yep, it definitely was. And he was hot. He was red hot. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't solve him at all in the first period, despite I thought playing some pretty good hockey. And then for the first half of the second period, nothing. And then all of a sudden, just like that, 5 minutes, we score 3 times. Hockey's like that sometimes.
Yeah. Let's talk about Saturday night because it was a home and home over the weekend. Saturday night, the team played in Pensacola, which is a tough rink to play in. By the
Yes.
way, let me introduce our guest you brought with us.
Yeah, yes, we totally
Excited
haven't
to
done
have
that.
you here,
Yeah.
Stephen
Pete.
Pirog,
Hey guys, how's it going?
team captain for the Mayhem. Thanks for being here this morning. Glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get into your backstory, your likes, your fears, your hopes, your dreams in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But is Pensacola a tough room to play in?
Absolutely. That rink, they have a very good crowd. I'm pretty sure they're 9-1-1 there. So when we were going in there, we knew how good they were on the road or at home, and we've been struggling on the road. So going in that game, especially after the travel from last night and playing and the excitement from that game before, we had all the momentum coming in, and it was a hard game. We fought, we battled back, and obviously we lost in overtime, but it's a tough place
But
to
still
play.
picked up that
Picked up
point.
points.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
That's important.
3 out of 4 against that type of a team, and especially where we're at, we looked at it as a plus for the
Yes.
weekend.
Oh, yeah. Final score
not to
Saturday night
mention all
was
the-
2-1.
2-1, yeah.
So to keep it to 1-1 in regulation is
Yeah, that's
ringing the bell on that.
Scored a late goal to force overtime, so that again kind of showed the resolve that this team has,
Yeah.
and not to mention all the players that we were missing. Sumalidis had the flu on Friday night and didn't
Yeah.
even play, and then it sounds like he wasn't quite back up to 100% when he played
When
on
he went out there
Saturday.
on Saturday.
Yeah, obviously Cam and Caesar still out, and Soper's still in the ECHL. We were missing a lot of our leaders, and the fight that the team put up this past weekend was definitely commendable.
It was phenomenal. It was a
Yeah.
great game Friday night. We had a blast. Let's talk about this weekend. Friday night, we have 2 games against Fayetteville Marksmen.
Yeah.
Friday night, puck drop 7:30. It is 90s night.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you wearing your hammer pants, Alex?
Come on.
I don't have a denim suit or anything like that. I know.
The Canadian tuxedo is
I
what you call it?
Al's been recommending that I go over to Goodwill and get some.
They've got them more than likely.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
travel over there,
Like
get
a
you
matching
something.
tracksuit, something
Right.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
Something in purples.
Yeah, purple
I
would
think,
be a
Alex. It
great
would bring out
color.
your eyes.
Purple.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
bring
But
out my
give me a
brown eyes.
preview.
Yeah.
Give me a preview of Fayetteville.
Well, they're like I was saying earlier, a very much improved team from last season. I think they're tied for second in our league right now. They've got a really good power play. Their coach won a championship in Huntsville a few years ago before he was an assistant there, and he got the head coaching job in Fayetteville after that. So always a very dangerous team. They work really hard, and it's going to be a challenge both nights. We haven't been able to beat them yet this season, so definitely a chip on our shoulder going in.
Not a bad thing to
No,
have
no.
as you're going into these 2 games. Saturday night is Marvel night.
Yes,
Now-
it is.
I've seen the Marvel jersey. I got a sneak peek at it.
Nice.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I have
Steven?
not.
Oh, are you a Marvel fan?
I am a huge.
Apparently, it's
You're
really.
so gonna love this.
Apparently, it's really, really nice.
Oh, you're so
Good.
gonna love
I'm
this.
excited.
Are they as good as the Peanuts jerseys?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's what he
they are.
came in talking mad smack about
They
that
are.
about that peanut jersey, like
That's-
how cool it was.
If they went with the one that they showed me they were gonna go with, yeah, it's as good. It's as good.
He actually wants one. Alex, is there a way we can get Tony one of those jerseys?
You can bid on them.
He don't. No, we ain't. No.
Well, thank you.
No. we ain't really talking about that though.
Sucker
Alex.
punch Charles Olson in the back of the head and take his. I can do that
I
too.
can do that too. Shut up.
Speaking of where I learned my fighting skills, Stephen Pirog is here. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having
man.
me.
Tell me about you. Where are you from?
I'm from Guelph, Ontario.
All right, so I'm going to guess you started playing hockey sometime around the age of 3.
Yeah.
That seems to be a trend.
Okay.
Actually, to be honest, I actually started when I was 6.
Oh, really?
I
Late
wasn't-
bloomer.
I wasn't a good skater. I actually hated hockey when I was a kid.
Wow.
kidding?
How could you be in Canada and hate the state sport?
My brother was way better than I.
Ah,
than me.
okay.
That's-
So
Okay.
there's a
There
little
it was.
intimidation from the brother. I got you.
Yeah, I eventually kind of just grew up with it at a backyard rink, and over the years, I slowly got the skates on. My dad kind of forced it upon me, and then one year, I kind of just blew up with it. I was the worst player on my house league team, and by the end of the year, I was the best, and then slowly moved up, and then began to love it.
Hold on, I don't want to gloss over
How-
something
yeah.
you said. Did you say you had a backyard rink?
God, come on now. We are linked. Because that's what I was going to say. Like I got a basketball court in the back of my house. You had a rink
Yeah.
back there?
That's like having a pool in Florida.
Dude.
Seriously, you had a
exist.
backyard rink?
Yeah, my dad would go out there 3 in the morning every night and water the rink. We had 3-foot boards. He spoiled us when we were kids, so I was born in the backyard rink, so
Oh,
That
I was
is
kind of made
legit.
for this.
look, I'm gonna ding the bell on that.
That's awesome, man.
Let your dad know that he got a bell ding on
Yeah,
that one,
he
man.
does. Wow.
That's really strong. So tell me about your high school, college, playing through that.
Yeah, when I was 15, I got drafted into a league called the OHL. I had to move when I was 16. Actually, I was 17 when I first made the team. Had to move away from home, a place called Peterborough. I got drafted there. I played there for 2.5 years. Went to school there, went to high school, so I transferred back from Guelph to Peterborough for high school. So I kind of went to 2 high schools in 1 year at the same time.
Wow.
So
Wow.
The
All right,
transition.
hold on.
Pause.
Pause. I don't wanna gloss
We
over
got
this
more
either.
questions.
Yeah.
You got drafted to play hockey while you were in high school, so you had to change high schools to finish out where you were drafted playing hockey.
Exactly.
Wow.
So and
Guess that makes prom difficult.
never went to prom. I didn't.
Wow,
I was always
Had a
too
game,
busy.
man. Come on. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And then I got traded from Peterborough to Guelph. Played for my hometown in the OHL. We ended up winning a championship down
Okay.
there, so it was pretty exciting. It was probably one of the biggest moments of my life. And I just grew up there, and then slowly I went into pro hockey.
Tell me how you ended up in Macon, because you were here for the championship team.
4 or 5 years ago, Kevin Kerr, he was the head coach here a while ago. He just gave me a call. I was struggling with an injury when I was in Evansville when they were in the ECHL, so I came home to recover, and he just gave me a call and he said I had a good opportunity here, and he would give me a lot of ice time and help me rebuild and get my pro career started, and I trusted him. And when I got here, the team was struggling a bit, but we ended up making the playoffs, had a good run for it, and the following year we had a hell of a team, and we went the whole way. So listening to him was a big part of my pro career start.
Now, you left for a while. Where'd you go?
Sorry?
You left for a while. Where'd you go?
Greenville.
Oh, yeah, I went to Greenville. Well, actually, I went to Atlanta first. They were the first ECHL team to kind of give me a chance, and I was back and forth with them. They kept calling me up. I kept getting called down. Guys were coming in and out of the lineup, and then the coach liked me there, so I stayed for the rest of the year. And then Kevin Kerr got the job in Greenville, so I played there for a year. It was a great opportunity for me to experience the ECHL, how that is, and it was a great opportunity, and it was fun. But I wanted to come back here for this year. I had a lot of good options here, and kind of different role playing around here. Like, obviously, coming back here and being more of a leader, and I thought that would be the best opportunity for me. So I came here, and I will be here all year. I'm not going to be taking up any call-ups or anything. I just want to stick it out here and see how it goes.
Well, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You're a fan favorite. And whenever everyone found out you were coming back, there was a lot of P-Rock's coming back.
A lot of whispers.
Didn't
Rock's
I
gonna be
did,
playing
I did some kind of reveal here on the show, I want to say, over the offseason.
Yes, I believe
Something-
you
Yeah,
did.
probably. Yeah.
That was a big deal,
Right,
man.
definitely
So
teased it.
glad to have you back.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to ask you a personal question. As team captain, with obviously with the coaching change at the start of the season, was that a tough transition? And how did you kind of view your role in all of that with Coach Michael stepping up from assistant?
Well, it was tough because Leo Thomas was a good friend to me. He was my assistant coach when I was here 3 or 4 years ago. He was almost like a brother to me, so it was obviously tough seeing him leave. And he knows so much. He has so much knowledge about the game, but it was just that's how business works, right? So when he left, Michael's had a lot of weight on his shoulders, and I just came up to him and I told him, whatever I could do to help, please do, because I came here to be a leader and to also learn the coaching side. So I looked at it as, even though it was a sad thing, but it was also a little bit of an opportunity for me to come into play and show them what I can do, what I can help out. And Ryan is a professional at what he does, and he hands off things that he thinks I can handle, and it's been a good learning curve for me too, and a good leadership role I need to bring in. So I think it was a bad thing at the start, but slowly we're coming together and we're fixing it. So.
Yeah, as we said off air, it really feels like the team is gelling, and I want to talk about we just broke a franchise record for 5 straight home wins.
Yeah, we had never done that before. Yep. It was.
Yeah, ring the bell for that. That's
Ring the bell for that.
You guys tied the record a few weeks ago against Birmingham when you won our last home game of 2019. We had won 4 straight, only twice previously on home ice, and now that we've won 5, that's a franchise record. That before. Every win has been by a single goal too, so we're winning the close games, which is huge.
good, very good.
So I want to talk about, speaking of being a team captain and a leader, I want to talk about your 4-minute penalty on Friday night. Well, we were talking off air, and I really love what you said. You said, because it was after Schmello got boarded, who, by the way, is back now. He got boarded pretty handily. And what was going through your mind when that happened? 'Cause he got smacked.
Well, I always look for, when I'm on the ice, for like big hits or things to kind of spark the play. I just saw in my peripheral vision that him getting hit and his helmet came off.
It was a 2-on-1.
Yeah, 2 guys wanted to finish their check, and it was pretty high. And I saw him go down, and my natural reaction is to kind of just stick up and see just to go to the pile or just go to the problem and see what's going to happen. And he just looked straight in the eye, and I looked him in the eye, and it was just a natural reaction.
It's about
clean
to
his
go
clock.
pretty, pretty much. It's a part of the game. It's something that needs to happen, and I've been in that scenario millions of times, so I've kind of been experienced with it. So it was just a reaction for me to go to his aid when he needed to, and I think the fans liked it a lot. And
it was kind of a galvanizing moment for the fans.
It brought everybody together again.
As someone who was in the stands when that happened, kind of a galvanizing moment. Just going to say that.
Yeah. Well, it was, to be honest, it was actually kind of a bad time to do it. We were winning, kind of momentum changer too. It could go either way.
Yeah, true.
So I took a risk there, but I'm glad I took the risk. It worked out that way.
Well, you kind of solicited a little bit of crowd reaction as you're coming off the ice.
Yeah, they were all looking at me, so I thought they
Get up, Macon, come on. No, it was a great game Friday night, and congratulations on where the team's going. You know, a lot of that has to do with leadership, and as team captain, got your own building.
Exactly.
Alex, good to see you.
You too.
Don't forget Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night, 7:30 puck drop. Saturday at 7.
Yeah, jersey auction after the game's over for those
Get out there.
specialty Marvel jerseys.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell me which player is possibly getting announced this
He's
week.
not going to do
You
it.
will see it.
I'm not going to tell you what the jersey looks like.
It's either today or tomorrow where you'll find out.
He said, when
That
I
goes
found
for-
out, you find out.
Goes for everyone tuned in.
Fine, be that way, Alex.
Alex Boncoito, the voice. He makes us play this twice for us.
Yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
Stephen, we have to play it
Twice.
twice.
Boncoito, the voice.
Intro and outro.
Voice. Love it, though.
Here's you two and BB King on the Creek.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that Creekside segment from this past Monday morning with the Mayhem captain, Stephen Pirog, Tony Doolin, Charles Davis, and myself. Every Monday morning, 100.9 The Creek. I'll take a player guest with me, and I just have them express themselves, be themselves, get to learn a little bit more about our team, some off-the-ice stuff that you might not otherwise know, get to know their personality a little bit better. Every player who I've brought onto that show has enjoyed themselves. The only issue with it is that it's at 8:30 in the morning on a Monday morning, which sometimes difficult to convince somebody to go do it, but once they do it, they always have a great time. Tip of the cap to Tony Doolin, Charles Davis, and 100.9 The Creek, the official radio promotional partner of the Macon Mayhem, for all that they do for the Mayhem. 1-1 your score through the first 20 minutes of play here at the Macon Centreplex. It started off well for the Mayhem. They got lots of good high-end scoring opportunities. There was a chance for Stephen Pirog, a chance for Sean Lynch, and a chance for a couple of other players who were all stymied in the opening minutes by Trevor Gorsuch, who looked very strong in net for the Marksmen. He bought his team enough time to seize the advantage and draw first blood, and they took advantage of that. John Gustafson, I beg your pardon, 9:05 into the game, playing his first game of the season, his first game with the Marksmen. Just ripped a shot through a lot of traffic. It looked like it might have gone through the 5-hole of Kevin Etma and found the back of the net to give the Marksmen a 1-0 lead. But the Mayhem had an answer. Less than 6 minutes later, a shorthanded breakaway by Dylan Denemy. They gave the assist to Stephen Pirog. I had originally identified it as unassisted, so that has been corrected. It is a Stephen Pirog with the lone assist. Dylan Denemy in his first game in Macon in nearly 2 years. As the last time he played a game here was in April of 2018. And he scored what would end up being Macon's first shorthanded goal since November of 2018. The last time the Mayhem scored a shorthanded goal was on November 9th of 2018 in Knoxville. Came off the stick of Dakota Kletcha. It was in the first half of last season. So that was a good long while ago. We're approaching the halfway point of this season, which for Macon will officially take place after tomorrow night's game concludes. After tomorrow night's game against Fayetteville, the 2019-20 season will be exactly halfway through, at least for the Mayhem. For Fayetteville, they've got 3 games in hand over Macon. Macon with the second most games played in the SBHL behind only the Knoxville Ice Bears. Very top-heavy season for the Mayhem in both senses of the words. Lots of home games in the early going and just lots of games, period, for the Mayhem in the early going. Let's take a look around the SBHL real quick while we've got a minute for a Hampton Inn and Suites out-of-town scoreboard update. Every team in the league is busy tonight. Birmingham is in Roanoke and have a 1-0 lead over the Rail Yard Dogs at the moment, about halfway through regulation. The Huntsville Havoc also with a 1-up on the Knoxville Ice Bears. So of the 4 games that are going on right now, 2 of them are tied. 2 of them, the visitors have a 1-0 lead. Peoria's in Quad City, 4 minutes in, no score. Pensacola will host the Evansville Thunderbolts momentarily. Puck drop is set for 7 minutes from now at 7:35 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8:35 Eastern. Meanwhile, this game deadlocked at a goal apiece. A goal from John Gustafson, a goal from Dylan Denemy, both of whom are playing in their first game of the season. John Gustafson, a former Mayhem forward, played here during the 2017-18 season, scored 5 goals for the Mayhem in 15 games played. He has played 3 games for the Atlanta Gladiators this season, 18 for the Norfolk Admirals in the ECHL, but this is his Marksman debut. Josh Kuzno to take the first faceoff of period 2 against Tim Keelik, won by the latter of the 2, and this game is back underway. And John Gustafson will tap it to Josh Victor on his right, and Jarrett Cupp's clearing attempt fails. It's held in the zone by McCloy, whose shot redirects wide off the stick of Tim Keelik. He receives it down low from Cody Schwartz. The puck pinballs back out to neutral ice, and it's Josh Victor who will rattle it back into the Macon zone. Goes past Alex De Oliveira, who catches up to it and draws a tripping penalty against the Marksmen. For the first time tonight, the Mayhem will go to the power play. This Mayhem power play will be brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe. And it's been pretty cold of late, folks. Macon's man advantage has not scored in its last 5 games. It has dropped as many consecutive power plays as it's killed consecutive penalties. 13 in a row. So Matt Robertson, another former Mayhem, in the All-State bonding penalty box. 2 minutes for tripping Alex de Oliveira near the Ortho Georgia dasherboard. Fayetteville winning the defensive zone draw to kickstart their penalty. Stathis Sumalitis making life difficult for Nicholas Sage, who can't clear it. Pirog far circle, tried to send it back to the point. It was picked off and cleared all the way down by Shane Bednard and stopped by Kevin Etma. He will leave it to Jarrett Cupp, the lone defenseman on the ice right now for Ryan Michael and the Mayhem. Cupp will backhand the puck up to Marcus Ortiz, who will snap one along the end wall and around to the far side. Dylan Denemy will rattle it back to the blue line. Jarrett Cupp over the stick of Denemy into the far circle, and it's easily scooped up by Lesage. Can't clear it. Ortiz shoots. It was earmarked for the blocker side post, but it redirected wide of the goal. Now Jarrett Cupp whacked at it in the neutral zone. It flew into the Macon bench and out of play. A minute 10 has expired here in period 2. 1-1 your score. The flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. Ryan Michaels sends out power play unit number 2. David Pawlowski with Josh Cousineau, Josh Keplinger, Wojtek Zemlitska, and Sean Lynch. Sean Lynch, Stepan Timofeyev, expected to alternate at that right point position on Macon's second power play tonight. Taylor McCloy in front of the Macon bench, concedes possession. Zemlitska gets the return from Sean Lynch. He will backpedal behind his own goal line and sends it up the left side for Josh Cousineau. Cousineau, the 6th-year SPHL veteran, negotiates his way over the Fayetteville line and will just backhand the puck down into the near corner for David Pawlowski. Now it's Cousineau again who spins. Josh Cousineau gains some room, flings it across. It's been cleared from the crease all the way down. It was Nicholas Sage who picked it up on the blue paint and whacked it all the way down the ice. Now it's Wojtek Zemlitska, Czech-born defenseman. Slides it to Josh Keplinger, Lawrence University graduate from last season. Sidesteps Alec Marsh and flings it over. Nearly a tap-in for Sean Lynch, just missed his stick. Zemlitska put it behind the net. Lesage has cleared it. He got it off to Don Oliveri, who got it all the way down the ice. 22 seconds remain on this Macon power play. It's been flung out into neutral ice, redirected by Ortiz on the stick of Denemy, who cuts into the slot, loses possession, but gets back on it quickly. Dylan Denemy will roll one behind the net. Marcus Ortiz, a bit of an overskate, but he goes over to the Warrior Dashers to fight for it. And the Marksmen fail to clear it. Pirog, Denemy, right circle, backdoor, they score! It's Marcus Ortiz in the waning seconds of the power play. Redirected into the gaping 4x6. Dylan Denemy with a primary assist. It's a power play goal, and the Mayhem have their first lead of the game. It's 2-1 Macon. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that stands as a power play goal. The door was opening to the All-State bonding penalty box, but Matt Robertson had not yet gotten back onto the ice. If I'm not mistaken, that will stand as a power play goal. Dylan Denemy with a goal and a primary assist. One shorthanded, one on the power play, and he has been sensational in his return to Macon. John Gustafson rattles the puck in below the Mayhem goal line, and Larry Smith reverses it. Gustafson is there to intercept, as he is now pinned to the corner boards by Ben Campbell, who has gotten some help in clearing it past the line. Fayetteville sends it back in. Etma stops it at his own end wall. Campbell's pass goes between the skates of Lindstrom all the way down. This will be an icing. Beg your pardon, it's waved off. Timofeyev's hustle nullified the icing call. Left point, Larry Smith, long slap shot, blocked. Bounces off the near half wall. Timofeyev is held up by John Gustafson. Now it's Travis Jake out to center. Jake got it to Keelik, who rattles it into Macon territory. Kevin Etma behind his own net. Leaves it off for Ben Campbell. Campbell distributes it to Josh Cousineau on the right wing. He'll backhand at the width of the ice. And off the bounce is Larry Smith playing it on goal. Denied by Trevor Gorsuch. Marcus Ortiz with his team-leading 11th goal on the season. Stephen Pirog being given what should be the secondary assist, and Denemy on the primary assist. So Matt Robertson loses the puck in the slot. Jarrett Cupp made a nice move to cut up the slot with it. Down the left side skates Sean Lynch. He puts it into the middle, gets the return pass. In the mid slot, Lynch from the circle fires. Blocker save, and a big rebound was conceded, but Gorsuch made a second stop on Pawlowski. 2-1 Mayhem your score. That goal from Marcus Ortiz gave the Mayhem their first lead of this game moments ago at the end of a Macon power play. still not received official word as to whether that was a power play goal or not. As of this very second, there's nothing uploaded to Point Streak. Sage up to Bednard at the red line. Return pass intended for him from Marsh. Bounces right back to Bednard in the slot. He twists it to Marsh at the bottom of the far circle, who's watched by Sumalitas. Right point drive by Oliveri. Pinballs off the referee. And here comes Ortiz on a counterattack. Cup to the goal. Ortiz in the slot, turns and fires. And it's swallowed up by Trevor Gorsuch. 4.5 have expired in the second period. 2-1 Macon is your score. Got a case of a good old-fashioned broadcaster's nightmare on hand again, folks, with Donald Oliveri and Alex De Oliveira on the ice. So if members of either the Oliveri or the De Oliveira family are tuned in tonight, please bear with me, and I appreciate your patience. Ryan Bowen sends it back to Travis Jake, the reigning SPHL Defenseman of the Year, with a breakout pass redirected by Bowen, taken away by Keplinger, and given ahead for David Pawlowski. He tips it into Fayetteville ice. Stepan Timofeyev forcing the issue. Travis Jake is all over it. He whacks it over the blue line. Bowen's got it. He springs McCloy, left side, watched by Zemlitska. He backhands a shot off the stick of Kevin Entma. Cook put it on goal. Entma the save. And it's kicked up the slot right to Zemlitska. Makes a crisp pass on the tape of Keplinger. Joined on the rush by Pawlowski. Drops it off to Campbell, whose shot gets blocked. And it's been cleared all the way down the ice off a Macon stick. This will not be an icing call. Larry Smith will have to go back and get it. And the Niagara University grad will circle back behind his own net with it inside of the Macon trapezoid with 14.5 to play in period 2. And the Mayhem leading by a 2-1 margin. Josh Cousineau, two-time SPHL President's Cup champion, floats it on goal from center ice. Gorsuch punches it into the near corner. Dylan Denemy goes crashing into Josh Victor in a puck battle, but Victor ended up with it, and Brett Johnson will skate down the right side, pass it to himself off the ortho Georgia Dashers. Far corner, it's Cody Schwartz. Twisted on goal. It's redirected by Bednard, but stopped by Entma. In the crease, the Macon goaltender holds on to it. 14 minutes remain in period 2. It's a 2-1 Macon lead. Marcus Ortiz scoring the most recent goal of this game, set up by Dylan Denemy and Stephen Pirog at the very end of a Macon power play, which, by the way, the goal was just uploaded onto Point Streaks. The good news for those players is they will all get a plus. The bad news is the power play woes technically continues. The Mayhem have just dropped their 14th straight. That goal was scored exactly 1 second after the power play had expired, so it will not be a power play goal. It was scored at even strength. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. 2-1 Mayhem is your score.
Trying to plan out a night of fun for an upcoming birthday? Why not spend it right here with the Mayhem? The Tommy's Bakery and Cafe Birthday Suite is available right here at the Macon Centreplex for all home games during the 2019-20 season. The birthday suite comes chock full of benefits, including 12 tickets, a private suite area with a great view of the ice, donuts from Tommy's Bakery, a visit from Mac the Mascot, and a special present for the birthday child. All of this for just $250, with additional tickets available for $12 each. Visit MaconMayhem.com or call our office for more information.
So a defensive zone face-off transpires for the Mayhem to the left of Kevin Entma at his glove side, and the Marksmen come away with it immediately thereafter. Brian Bowen circles the offensive zone, extremely dangerous. He fires, blocked, loose puck, backhander, sails wide of the net, and it's going to be scooped up by Larry Smith near his own goal line, who will punch it off the stick of Pirog out to the Mayhem logo at center. The marksman, Travis Jake, fires it off the protective netting. And oh my goodness, folks, that might have hit somebody. That hit a fan. That puck hit a fan. You could see based on the reaction of Travis Jake, he did not mean to do what just happened. And he just tried to dump it into the Macon zone. He got it too much. He got under it too much, and it sailed over the glass just wide of the protective netting, and it looks as though it struck a fan in the seats behind the Mayhem end wall. Travis Cook throws a towel up there. I beg your pardon, Max Cook throws a towel from the Fayetteville bench, a classy move made by the Fayetteville captain. And there may be some blood. Fans here at the Macon Centreplex are cheering for the fans' hopeful recovery. Josh Hoffman, the Mayhem trainer, is now heading off the ice to go tend to that fan who was just struck by a flying puck. And our thoughts and prayers are certainly with whomever was just hit. 6 ounces of vulcanized rubber. Hoffman is making his way up the stairs right now and is about to turn the corner to go make sure that that fan is okay. A very unlikely scenario, folks. You can see there's protective netting all around the backboards, but right where the corner boards, or the half boards really meet the backboards, there's just a little bit of space between where there are some fans sitting and where there's room to get the puck through the protective netting or right by it. It went just wide to the right of it. And now Blair Floyd, the Mayhem general manager, heading over to make sure that he or she, we're not sure who was hit, is okay. We'll be sure to keep you tuned in, posted on that story as it develops. A shot from Brett Johnson is swallowed up by Kevin Etma. You saw the reaction from Travis Jake, or at least I did, after he flung that puck into the Macon zone. It went just wide of the protective netting, wide right of the protective netting, and struck a fan up in those seats behind the Mayhem corner boards. Taylor McCloy wins the offensive zone faceoff back to Josh Victor, whose shot gets blocked. Dylan Denemy has shoveled it all the way down the ice powerfully from his backhand. Jarrett Cupp blocks the clearing attempt by Gorsuch, gets taken into the half wall. Denemy far boards. Couldn't cut his way into the slot, is pickpocketed by Oscar Arfelt. It's whacked at the goal and stopped by Trevor Gorsuch. Arfelt's clearing attempt didn't work out. He was swarmed by Navy sweaters. Denemy, Lynch, Cupp, rather Cousineau were all over him. Sincerely hope that whoever was hit by that flying puck is okay. Josh Cousineau with a clean win on the offensive zone draw in the left circle of the Fayetteville zone. Long wrist shot from Lynch gets blocked by Tim Keelik. And then a high sticking infraction is going to be called against Keelik as Josh Cousineau sold it pretty well. Hopefully he's not bleeding. High sticking is the call against the Marksmen, and the Mayhem will go back to the power play. Officially, Macon's power play is 0 for 1, but the man advantage did directly result in Macon's go-ahead goal. It was scored exactly 1 second after the penalty called against Matt Robertson for tripping had expired. This Mayhem power play is brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe. Brett Johnson in a foot race for it. Kevin Etma just went out and behind his net to play it, and now it's played by Dylan Denemy. Skillfully, he will put it up the ice to Stathis Sumalitis, who twists with it above the right circle. He and Denemy switch places. Denemy banks it off the boards right to Jarrett Cupp. Over to Pirog, who redirects it into the far corner. Pirog kicks it to his stick and will skate down the far half wall with it. He centers it for Ortiz, who is well covered. And here come the Marksmen in transition. Short-handed, potential 2v2, but they decide to send it back and just kill some time. And Macon may be sending its second power play unit out here, at least half of it. Sumalitis, Denemy to the bench. Ortiz receives the pass from Jarrett Cupp, gets rid of it and goes in after it. It's blasted around the boards by Josh Victor. Cut off by Cousineau beautifully. Lynch is set up, gives it over to Ortiz, whose one-timer is gloved by Trevor Gorsuch. Cousineau just batted that puck out of midair at an extremely high velocity. And ultimately Marcus Ortiz was given a pretty solid opportunity from the left circle on the one-timer. Unfortunately, he was near the end of a shift. He had been out there since the beginning of the power play. So now the Mayhem get the entirety of their second power play unit out there for an offensive zone draw on the far circle of the Fayetteville zone. Wojtek Zemlicka distributes it to Kuzno, left circle. Kuzno across, hoping for Sean Lynch. It was cut off by Bednard, cleared off the glass. Took a fortuitous Macon bounce, and Marsh couldn't do what he wanted with it. As a result, the Mayhem back in control. Keplinger up to Josh Kuzno, who will enter the Fayetteville zone. Kuzno cuts towards the left point and then just rattles it in behind the net and around the boards to the near side. Sean Lynch spins, gets it down to Keplinger, goes past his stick, and now it's Nicholas Sage being pinned to the boards by Keplinger. Several players lurking around that scrap. It comes loose to Bednard, who will begin to motor out with it. He will feed Alec Marsh in stride. Marsh one-hands it through, back to Bednard. Down the slot, Bednard the shot. He sort of fanned on it. Either that or it was blocked. Sean Lynch will reverse it. A dozen seconds to go on this Macon power play. Pawlowski gives it back to Zemlicka, who will make one last breakout on this Macon man advantage. Zemlicka goes up the middle. Here comes Keplinger down the right side. He will attempt to drop it. Ben Campbell's got it in the corner. He dips his shoulder, goes behind the net with it. Tapping his stick, calling for it, Lindstrom. The pass redirects to Lindstrom, near corner. Anton Lindstrom sends it to Keplinger, whose pass was intended for Smith. It was outside of his reach, and it goes all the way back to Kevin Etma, who is behind his net at the moment. He will drop it to Smith. In the meantime, the Marksmen have improved to 2 for 2 on the penalty kill tonight. Trevor Gorsuch knocks it aside. It's been advanced by Jake. Max Cook slides it across to Brian Bowen. His shot. Paddle saved by Entma. Bowen is competing for possession with Ben Campbell. At the moment, Bowen's got it. He will set up Jake at the blue line. DDD pass to his right for Oscar Arfelt. Return to Jake. His shot goes just wide. It's played by Bowen, given through the slot and wide of the intended target. The Mayhem are able to clear it out to center. Tima Fayev from the red line rolls the puck along the blue line. Now it's Campbell, right circle, waits, centers, Pirog, skate to 6, shoots, blocker save by Gorsuch. And now it's Lindstrom who's pickpocketed. Here come the Marksmen nearing the end of a shift. And it's Tim Keelik entering the attacking zone, sliding it over. Down goes McCloy. And that's going to be a penalty called against Macon for a hook. Fayetteville will go back to the power play for the second time tonight. Fans not happy with the call, but that looked like a hooking penalty to me. And Fayetteville will go back to the power play for the second time this evening. On its first man advantage, Macon scored a shorthanded goal, and Dylan Denemy's return to the Mayhem. We are halfway through this hockey game. Just over it, as a matter of fact. 9:22 to go here in period 2. The Mayhem have a 2-1 lead. Dylan Denemy with a goal and a primary assist on Marcus Ortiz's goal. So Dylan Denemy with 2 points in as many periods since returning to Macon is currently on pace for 87 points. He has just had a remarkable return to action here in Macon. And any fans who were the least bit concerned as to whether Dylan Denemy would be in game shape just yet or ready to jump back into the swing of things, I think their questions have been more than answered here tonight. Remember, folks, not only is this his first game in Macon in nearly 2 years, this is his first game all season. He did not play competitively from October through December of this season. But he has been skating and practicing and has maintained his conditioning, and that has shown tonight. Alex De Oliveira is pinned up to the end wall near the Ortho Georgia Dashers, and Oscar Arfelt has it now in the far corner. He will send it down to McCloy. It's cut off by Cup. Cup and De Oliveira both scrapping for it. It's been shoveled along the far boards by Bednard out to Oscar Arfelt. Bednard wheels wide on Sean Lynch. Takes it down to the far corner and spins it back to Arfelt at the right point. Arfelt's got it on his backhand. He will twist it to Bednard, who delays at the point again. Returns it, Arfelt, right side. Puts it in behind the net for McCloy. Given to Keelik. Outer hash marks left circle. Centering pass to Bednard. He was swarmed by Mayhem. And Sean Lynch has just cleared it. 8.5 to go in the second. 2-1 Macon. 1:07 remains on this Fayetteville power play. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. Don Oliveri with it behind his own net. He's played in 22 of Fayetteville's 23 games this season. He gives it to his right. It's carried across the blue line by John Gustafson. Defended carefully by Larry Smith. Goes into the near corner for Brian Bowen. Bowen with his head up. Steps into the mid-circle and will drop it to Travis Jake at the blue line. Jake surveys, gives it to Brian Bowen. Left circle, side of the net to Cook. Backhand shot denied by Entma. And Entma sprawls on the rebound and covers it. One of the marksmen just very dangerous in close proximity of that crease. Brian Bowen, Max Cook, both pretty sizable players. Very good at maintaining possession, and they like to shoot sort of a weak low shots on goal that almost sort of fool the goaltender into thinking it's a pass, and it's not panicking, but just a knee-jerk reaction to kick it away, and it results in rebound opportunities often. Brian Bowen receives the pass from Jake. Give it back to Jake at the blue line. Now it's Keelik. Rather Marsh. Jake again. Deep slot. Shot. Pad save. Rebound. Side of the net. Max Cook can't bury it. Cook's got it still in the corner. He gives it back to the line for Brian Bowen at the left point. He skates it down into the circle and fires. Missed over the crossbar. Rattles its way into the far half wall. Larry Smith with a chance to clear. He does. Travis Jake bats it out of midair in the neutral zone. Steven Pirog's been let out of the box, and the Mayhem have officially killed off their 15th consecutive penalty. Steven Pirog is harassed by Marsh. Marsh brings him down. In neutral ice, Timofeyev is flattened by Marsh right in front of the Allstate bonding penalty box, and a penalty will be called against Fayetteville. And a scrap ensues right in front of the box. There might have been a charge called against Alec Marsh. Timofeyev was really in Marsh's crosshairs, and a split second after he looked up, he was leveled. Steven Pirog going right back to the Beyond Tattoo penalty box. He was just there moments ago. And Sumilidis none too pleased with the decision. And this will be an interesting call by Cody Helbig. But we await the official word on what that call will be. And we know that Alec Marsh is in the box for Fayetteville and Steven Pirog in the box for Macon. The two of them have not finished exchanging gestures. And we're going to take a listen to the public address announcer, Charles Olson. So it's offsetting roughing minors, one called against Marsh, one called against Pirog. I figured based on the hit, there would have been something wrong with the hit. It looked like a clean hit to me, but it's tough to tell as to whether he charged Timofeyev or not. I did not see the number of strides he took. And immediately, Cody Helbig's arm went up after the hit, so I figured it would have had something to do with that, but according to the call, it did not, and it was offsetting roughing minors called against Steven Pirog and Alec Marsh. So we go to the 4-on-4 for the first time tonight, and Marcus Ortiz swivels across the Fayetteville blue line and sends it off Sumilidis' skate, and the veteran power forward wisely shovels it all the way back to Kevin Entma and resets. That was a soccer play from Stathis Sumilidis, sending it all the way back to his goaltender like that from the neutral zone. Here comes Marcus Ortiz, stepping into the slot. Mishandled it. He was well covered, and Shane Bednard scoops it up for the marksman. Bednard sends it cross ice. Nicholas Sage able to squeeze by Dylan Denemy, then center one. Bednard across. They score. A 4-on-4 goal for the marksman, and they have just drawn level. That is John Gustafson's second goal of this game, and what a marksman debut he's having, the former Mayhem forward. Very quick 2-on-1 down low that developed, and John Gustafson, a left-handed shot on the right side of the ice. Very easy for him to just snap off a one-timer from point-blank range. Much too easy. Far too much room for Gustafson to unleash a one-timer from the bottom of the right circle to beat Kevin Etma over the glove. So we're back to a tie game, 2-2 your score with 6 minutes remaining in in period 2. 55 seconds on the offsetting penalties to Stephen Pirog and Alec Marsh for roughing. Larry Smith, Alex De Oliveira has to spin back. Pressured by Max Cook. Now it's Smith. Backhands it up the far wall. Sean Lynch able to get by a defender. He drives to the net and shoots, and a save is made by Gorsuch. Don Oliveri leaving it for Max Cook. Cook will begin to motor out to neutral territory and gain the blue line on the right side. He fires, stick save Entma, rebound bounces up into the slot. Travis Jake, while falling, couldn't get a shot off, and Keplinger will just spin back behind his own net with it. Josh Keplinger out to center ice. There's the Fayetteville zone, drives wide from the bottom of the left circle, now carries in behind the net and sends it off the pads of Gorsuch. Bounces back up the slot, and here come the Marksmen. 3-on-3 counterattack, both teams back to full strength. Quick shot from the right circle is knocked aside by the blocker of Entma. And Wojtek Zemlitska spins with it and sets up Stepan Timofeyev, who will motor in across the Marksman blue line. Timofeyev's backhand pass is cut off, but the Mayhem steal it. Pirog centers it. Here's Keplinger back to Pirog, who fans on the one-timer. And Alec Marsh will scoop it up and settle things down for Fayetteville. We're in final media timeout territory of period 2. The Mayhem steal the puck. Denemy right side, enters the zone, slides it into the middle, outside of the reach of Cousineau. Larry Smith now at center. Back into Fayetteville ice and gives it to Sean Lynch. Denemy redirects it into the Fayetteville zone. Bounces off the corner boards, and a couple of players go tumbling into the net, which causes it to dislodge. It's Josh Cousineau and Cody Schwartz, who both went into the Fayetteville goal. 4:13 to go in period 2. We've got a 2-2 score on our hands. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast tonight, folks. On the Mayhem Broadcast Network, you're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor, streaming it on YouTube. Alex Von Coda, the voice of your Mayhem, happy to have you with us for some Friday night hockey. We'll be back in just a moment. Keep it right here. 2-2 your score with 4:13 to go in period 2.
Good news, Mayhem fans. The group outing package you know and love is back for the 2019-20 season. If you bring a group of 10 or more people, you receive discounted tickets at $13 a piece, reserved seating, free hats, t-shirts, or pucks for each member of your group, and an experience upgrade of your choosing. Set upgrades include the high five tunnel, bench buddies, a picture on the ice after the game, and much more. Just be sure to call our office at 478-803-1592 in advance, and we'll get you all squared away.
2-2 is your score with 4:13 to go in period 2 here at the Macon Centreplex. 18-15 your shots on goal in favor of the Mayhem. 10-7 the shots on goal in favor of Macon during period 2. The first period was evenly distributed, 8 shots apiece. Josh Cousineau, neutral zone faceoff, lost to Max Cook. Denemy pounces on it right off the draw, but Fayetteville is able to regain control of it in their own zone. Delayed penalty upcoming against Macon. The Marksmen will go to their third power play as soon as the Mayhem get their sticks on this puck. It is Oscar Arfelt beneath his own goal line. Arfelt slides it to his right. There's Max Cook. Pass broken up by Cup, so the whistle blows, and a penalty will be called against Cousineau, I believe, who tripped one of the Marksman players immediately after losing the neutral zone face-off in front of the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. So our head off ice official Terry Reynolds is in that penalty box. He'll shut the door. Cousineau will take a seat, and the Marksmen back to the power play for the third time tonight. Can the third time be the charm? They were pretty close last time. Their first power play, they conceded a shorthanded goal to Dylan Denemy. On the last one, they had a couple of close calls just not go their way. Marcus Ortiz is able to rattle it off the near half wall. Bounces right into the top of the crease area. It's cleared into the corner on the near side. Ortiz is brought down. And we get a whistle and a stoppage in play. Cody Helbig just put his arms up, didn't really signify what the whistle was for. He might have just lost sight of the puck. Well, Pirog will again take a defensive zone face-off. He'll be countered by Fayetteville's captain, Max Cook. Pirog beats him cleanly. It's Jarrett Cupp sending it around to the far corner. Marcus Ortiz is immediately met by resistance in the form of Tim Keelik. Max Cook passes it to himself off the half wall on the far side and sends it around the boards to the point and squeaks past Brian Bowen out to center. Travis Jake. Both of his goals this season came in this building back on opening night on October 18th of 2019. The Boston College product sends it up the middle. Max Cook will drop it and slid this way to Bowen. He enters the zone. Brian Bowen weaves in the slot. He sets up Cook, who one-times it into the goal. Max Cook with a power play goal from the left circle. Kevin Etma unable to slide over from his left to his right in time. Cook left wide open in the left circle has given the Marksmen a 3-2 lead. Fayetteville's first goal of this game that was not scored by John Gustafson. And Macon's penalty killing streak has come to an end. They had fought off 15 in a row until that goal scored by Cook. It has fallen to 2 for 3 on the night. David Pulowski wins the ensuing draw. Mike Cimello had his pass bounce off of Tim Keelik's knee. Right to Larry Smith. It was mishandled by Sumalitas in front of the Macon bench. Puck is rushed by Zemlitska. His countryman Sumalitas hammers a slap shot after entering the attacking zone. It misfired over the crossbar. Cimello now in behind the net. Able to set up Pulowski. Now it's Sumalitas near circle. Up to the blue line for Wojtek Zemlitska, his fellow Czech Republic native. Cimello was in a battle for it with Tim Keelik, who bested him, and now here come the Marksmen the other way. Taylor McCloy sends it in behind the Macon cage. Smith's pass was intended for Cimello, never reached him. Now a 6-player scrum ensues along the near half wall. Nicholas Sage ends up with it and sends it D2D for Oliveri, whose shot is blocked. Now Sumalitas will send it on net from about 80 feet or so, and it's denied by Gorsuch, who makes a long stretch pass out to Alec Marsh. He will twist into the Mayhem zone with 1:45 remaining in the second period. For the first time in this period, the Mayhem trailing. It's 3-2 Fayetteville. Sean Lynch motoring down his off wing. He sends it in behind the Marksman cage. Cleared around the boards by Gorsuch. Back out to neutral ice. Timofeyev races after it. Pursued by his former teammate Darius Davidson. Now it goes beyond Nicholas Sage. Sean Lynch catches up to it. Tries to center for Keplinger. Keplinger now from the goal line in the near corner. Had his shot get blocked by Oliveri. And now it's Alec Marsh for the Marksman. He slips one through. Oliveri to the goal. Good stick check made by Sean Lynch to nullify an opportunity. Puck is held alive by Nicholas Sage nicely from the near point. Pulowski coughs it up to Bednard, and Lesage will rattle it into the Macon zone. Etma behind his net, pursued by Bowen. Jarrett Cupp sends it off his own end wall. Gets it right back in the far corner. Up to Campbell, back to Cupp. Miscommunication. It goes to the far half wall and stops. Bowen is first there. Well, there were 4 or 5 Mayhem players all around it. Bowen still got to it first. Pulowski, far corner, 22 seconds to go. Long stretch pass. Hoping to find Denemy. He was dispossessed of it by Jake, who moves in and fires. Ricochets wide of the goal. And John Gustafson's follow-up bid is blocked. Deep slot, Arfelt, long wrist shot, just missed the far side post. The Mayhem with time winding down on the period. Anton Lindstrom will carry it across the Fayetteville blue line and just chip it into the corner. That'll do it for period 2. 3-2 Marksmen after 2/3 of this game have expired. The Mayhem got their first lead of the game just 2:31 into period 2, just 1 second after their power play had expired, so it did not count as a power play goal. And then the non-5-on-5 play really came back to haunt the Mayhem eventually as the period wore on. An offsetting roughing minor called against Stephen Pirog and Alec Marsh ultimately harmed the the home side and benefited the visitors as John Gustafson potted his second goal of this game in his Marksman debut tonight, and he did so on the 4-on-4. He was set up by Shane Bednard for a one-timer at the bottom of the right circle. Just too much room for John Gustafson, and a fairly simple-looking goal for him to just roof it over the glove of Kevin Etma. And then Max Cook, just 3.5 minutes later, scoring what would be his 7th goal of the season. He was set up by Brian Bowen. Typically it's the opposite, Cook setting up Bowen. But this time it was Bowen setting up Cook for a power play goal in the left circle. He was given the pass from Bowen in the slot. Cook just unleashed a one-timer from the left circle, beat Kevin Etma near side. Etma unable to slide over quickly enough from his left to his right, and partially because of the screen that was set up in front of him, but also just partially because of how quickly that play unfurled. So Cook scored Fayetteville's go-ahead goal, and that was the most recent goal to be scored in this game. Again, that goal scored by Cook would be his 7th of the season. Both game-winning goals scored by the Marksmen against Macon this season were scored by defensemen. First time by Travis Jake, and the next by Don Oliveri. As it stands right now, Max Cook has the game-winning goal if this score does not change. The Mayhem will see to it that it does in period 3. They've got 20 minutes left to tie this game. Fayetteville tipping the scales in the latter stages of that second period, regaining the lead and taking an edge in shots on goal as well. They now lead the Mayhem 24-21. Again, 40 minutes of this game have expired. Before we head to our second intermission break, we're going to take a look around the SBHL for a quick Hampton Inn and Suites out-of-town scoreboard update. Again, folks, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We're glad to have you with us. Taking a glance around the league, Roanoke has come away with a 4-2 lead early in the third periods. They were trailing to start the game, but have really taken over, it seems, since then. With 17:20 left to go in regulation, the Rail Yard Dogs lead Jamie Hicks's squad by a 4-2 margin. In Knoxville, the Havoc, the defending champs, up 2-1 over the Ice Bears. Peoria and the Quad City Storm all knotted up at a goal apiece, and the Pensacola Ice Flyers hosting the Evansville Thunderbolts in that daunting Pensacola Bay Center. They lead 2-0 over Jeff Bess and the Bolts. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. Again, 3-2 your score in favor of the visiting Fayetteville Marksmen, 2/3 of the way through this one. Like we said, we're going to head to a break for our second intermission timeout. For those of you who weren't able to make it out to Line Change this past week, a weekly coaches show which features head coach Ryan Michael and 2 player guests. Our player guests this past week were Josh Keplinger and Ben Campbell, and we're going to play back an excerpt from our last episode of Line Change. It was our first episode of the decade back on Tuesday, January the 7th. Keplinger, Campbell, Michael, myself, we're all at the Rookery at the Creek Stage hosting Line Change for the 9th time this season. So we're going to play back an excerpt from our last episode on the Mayhem Broadcast Network momentarily here, folks. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we're going to take a break for the next 13 or 14 minutes or so. When we come back, we'll get you ready for third period action here at the Macon Centreplex. Till then, keep it right here. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. 3-2 Fayetteville is your score as we head to our second intermission break. Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, thanks so much for being here for episode 9 of season 2 of Line Change with Coach Ryan Michael. And congratulations on being here for the first line change of the decade, technically. First line change of 2020, so give yourselves a round of applause. Our player guests tonight, sitting to Coach Michael and I's right, are Ben Campbell and Josh Keplinger. If you would, please give a round of applause to those two gentlemen as well. We're going to get to you guys in just a second. The first thing I want to do is ask Coach Michael about the previous weekend against the Pensacola Ice Flyers. It was a great weekend. You guys came away with 3 points out of 4 in a home-and-home series with one of the top teams in this league. Not to mention the team was extremely banged up. But just generally speaking, what were some of your biggest takeaways from this past home-and-home series?
Well, like you said, it was a good weekend. I thought Friday was, a lot better than Saturday. The intensity was there, the effort, and Like you mentioned, being short, I thought, we had a good, next man up mentality, and, everybody just did that little bit more. I thought the will to win was there, blocking shots, diving to get pucks out, just kind of doing the little things. Saturday I thought we started a little sluggish. I thought Stewart was unbelievable in that for us, especially in the first and, throughout the whole game. So, bringing him in was good. Obviously proved that pretty well on Saturday, and just the fight back from not having a good start to generating momentum in the second and, finding a way late in the third to tie it. And, obviously wish overtime would have gone better and, or maybe make it the shootout where it's a bit more of a numbers game. But certainly getting a point out of that building, which they had been, 9-1-1 and going into that night was a plus for us.
Yeah, very tough building to play in, and what a debut from Hayden Stewart. You hit the nail on the head. Really, I think good things on the horizon for him and the Mayhem goaltending duo. This next question I'm going to ask, all three of you are welcome to answer. 5 straight wins on home ice now. That's a franchise record. No Mayhem team has ever done that before until just this past Friday. You guys clearly have a strong and significant advantage when playing at the Macon Centreplex. Why is that?
I'll go first. I think there's, comfortability of, the locker room, everything, just kind of being at home is nice, and obviously the fans. And I thought Friday's crowd was great in terms of the number and size, as well as, the energy they provided, and especially after T-Rod's little fight there, certainly got everybody going. So, it's nice to play at home in front of your home fans, and you guys helped Friday, with the size of the crowd and the energy.
I mean, I definitely agree with Friday night was definitely the most fun to play in Macon so far since I've been here. So that definitely helps the crowd get behind us. But then, as Coach alluded to, just the comfortability, napping in your own bed, eating your own pregame meal, kind of avoiding that bus trip is something that definitely helps.
Yeah, just to piggyback, I think it's the routine factor. I think being comfortable with the day of game preparation, morning skate, things like that, getting used to the ice, because we know how our ice is typically, and sometimes when you go on the road, it's a little bit different. And I think kind of being used to our ice and being used to our boards and our rink is an advantage for sure.
So, Josh, you've gotten into a nice rhythm now where you've played in 8 games in a row for a little bit in the beginning of the season, in and out of the lineup a little bit, but you've been on a nice consistent roll here. How's that been dressing, consecutive games, 8 games in a row now in terms of getting yourself into a rhythm?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's nice to kind of get comfortable a little bit. The more touches you get, and the more ice time you get, the more comfortable you are out there, and the more willing and confident you are to make plays. And I think that's huge with my game is confidence. And when I'm playing confident, I think I'm a way better player than I am when I'm not. So.
Yeah, definitely. And there have been a lot of omissions lately, it seems like, especially on the left wing side, I think. Jimmy Stoper being called up to the ECHL, and, with what happened with Danny Perez going back home, and Stathis Umelitis, who had the flu last weekend, didn't play on Friday, but played through it on Saturday. He's in the house tonight, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But it just seems like, you've got no choice really but to take on a bigger role on that left side of the ice. How do you feel, with that being the case and having had such an enormous role in your college days at Lawrence University?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I want that. Like, I want to make it hard on Mike's and the coaching staff, and I want to play the best that I can play, and I want to do whatever it takes to help the team. And if that means put the puck in the net a couple times or go run a guy through the wall and play a good 10th forward, whatever it takes is what I want to do to help the team.
So, Ben, I'm going to address the next question I have to you. You're somebody who I think has grown a lot in terms of your confidence. You seem to be joining in on the rush a little bit more, helping the team create more offense, and it led to a really nice assist on Zach Urban's game-winning goal on Friday night, taking the puck all the way behind the net and setting him up in the slot.
Do you think, just more of a byproduct of playing under Coach Michael's system, or do you think it's just the way you like to play and you're just getting more comfortable in playing here?
I think it's a little bit of both. Just definitely getting comfortable as Mike takes over and kind of establishes who he is as a head coach. So that's definitely been a part of it. But then, throughout my career moving forward, as far as getting to Macon, that's kind of the type of player I liked to emulate my game after. I liked to, create as much offense as I could. And in my college career, that's the type of player I was. And after, playing 8 games last year and then coming in this year, I think it's just a comfortability and kind of getting used to the speed and the size of the professional game. And I've been able to do that, with each and every game. A little bit more confidence kind of comes with that.
Yeah, and before your college career, you played junior hockey in the North American Hockey League. You played in Alaska.
Right.
Season and a half in Fairbanks, season and a half in Kenai. I worked in the North American League for 3 seasons and got to know a coach who played in Fairbanks as well. He told me it was an unbelievable experience. I wanted to ask you a little bit what that was like, playing junior hockey in Alaska.
Yeah, it's I had a great experience. Not many people get to live up there. I loved it. The dark gets to you from time to time. You don't see the sunlight for 6 months, so that gets rough. But as far as Fairbanks, we sold out 3,000 fans a night, packed. And the club that we had when I was there was, consistently at the top of the league. So it was a lot of fun to go into buildings and just know that you're going to win.
Right.
So just to have that confidence of, being an elite program in that league was a lot of fun. And, you meet some of your best friends and juniors and some of the great experiences you have playing hockey. So I wouldn't change it, my junior career, for anything. I loved it.
Definitely. I mean, the only thing I could think of that would make that experience rough is obviously this time of year when it's probably minus 40, minus 50.
Yeah. The coldest I saw was 63 below.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I don't think too many people from Macon can even fathom that. I don't know if I can either. So, all right, last question I have for you guys, and then I'll let the fans ask some questions. We have Marvel Superhero Night coming up this Saturday. Are any of you up here big Marvel fans at all? I know that Captain Stephen Pirog is.
Not really.
No.
Not really.
I'm a pretty big Marvel fan.
All right, well, we've got one.
I've seen all the movies.
Okay.
I'm a
Yeah.
fan.
All right. Well, who's your favorite? Do you have a favorite character?
I kind of like them all. Black Panther was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The new Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I really liked that one.
Well, have you guys seen the jerseys yet?
I have. I just saw it, actually.
Just on
Okay.
the way here, actually, we saw them.
What do you think?
Very cool.
They're sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like the light and dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a fan of that as well.
Heroes versus the evils.
The real question is, are we going to wear white helmets or blue helmets with them?
That is a good
'Cause
question.
They're kind of light and dark, so
We'll have to ask Evan.
yeah.
All right, that's all the questions I have. The next part of the show will now belong to you guys. You're free to ask any question your heart desires. The only thing that we ask is, as always, just please do so into the microphone. There's a crowd mic that we're gonna pass around. And if you just ask the questions in there, we'll be able to archive this show and upload it onto our YouTube channel later on tomorrow. So.
So my question is for all 3 of you. What is your favorite hockey memory?
That one's pretty easy for me. My junior year, we won the CCC, my collegiate conference. We were like the 4th or 5th seed going into the tournament, so we were kind of, backs against the wall. And we ended up winning 3 road games against 3 top 5 ranked teams in the country to win our conference, and then ended up eventually losing in the Elite Eight to get to the Frozen Four, but beating UNE in their barn 8-3 with 4,000 people in attendance and just silencing that crowd was for sure my favorite experience as far as hockey goes.
Geez, I'm trying to think because both years of juniors, the teams that I was on, we lost in the championship game, so can't really go from there. And then in school, we never really made it past the first round of playoffs, so we never really made the tournament for school. So I would say it's probably a toss-up between two. I would say either signing to come down here last winter or spring would be one memory, and then the other one would probably be being named All-State my senior year of high school for the state of Michigan. So that's pretty cool.
I guess for me, it would be senior in high school, went 25-0, win the state championship. That was pretty cool. And then obviously my time here, that second year was pretty special. Just, from training camp on, we realized quick we had a good group, and probably within that championship, I think beating Peoria in Peoria, game 1, and finding out that, never mind, I'm not going to divulge what John Gee apparently said after the game, but yeah, that's probably it for me.
Hey, Coach, what do you think Dylan Denome can bring to the team?
It's a good question. I've never seen him play. His time here was, my gap year of playing and coaching. So, but from everybody I've talked to and just from seeing him today, he's a big-bodied kid. Skates well enough. I think he can be 200 feet player, which is always important to me. And even more so, just looking at his resume of where he played, in college here, and then he played over in the top league in France. He's not quite a point-a-game guy, but he's a guy that can add some more secondary scoring to our club.
Oh, an announcement.
An announcement?
All right. Yeah. I think this is our first announcement in line change history.
Saturday night, we are having a raffle for the Marvel basket. It's 1 for $5 or 3 for $10, and it'll be available at the table, Booster Club table, Friday night and Saturday night. And a jersey will be included with the basket. So, thank you.
Great. Thank you. And thanks so much to anyone who's in the Booster Club who's here in attendance tonight. We really appreciate everything that you do for our organization. How many years is it in a row now, Coach? Best Booster Club in the league? Stathis, do you know?
Ever since we've been here.
Yeah.
This is for Coach. We've had 2 embellishment calls this year in Macon, and you got pretty fired up on that one the other night. Can you tell us what's going on with this?
I'm assuming you're referring to Team of Fayetteville. I never really saw the play itself. I saw more of the aftermath. So I was kind of going based off what other people were telling me. But I don't know. I'd have to see it on film to give an honest answer. I mean, I'm all for. To be honest, I'm all for the embellishment calls in the right areas. Obviously, the game's a little bit. I don't want to use the term softer, but it's the stick work and the holding and grabbing is called a great deal more than it was 5-10 years ago. So I think to some degree you have to keep players honest in the sense that some guys will fall a little easier than others to try to get those calls and gain that advantage. So, I mean, I never really saw the play live to tell you, but okay, then then I mean he's a smaller guy, so if it right. So I mean if it was warranted, then it was warranted, and if not, I mean again it's a 3-man system, so it's hard for him to keep track of the puck and everything going on beyond the play too.
So this is for Coach. I know that you're stepping up now to be the head coach and not the assistant coach, has pretty much doubled your workload. Is there any kind of insight on when we may possibly see an assistant coach or even a trainer for our team?
The trainer thing is, obviously not ideal. We have a bit of a system in place going forward to alleviate that problem. So that's kind of being addressed, and I think that'll be, more at a 100% rate moving forward, which will be good. Not only for me, obviously, having a clear line of communication with somebody, but for these guys to be comfortable and not have a different set of eyes and ears and a different mouth talking every other day. So that's getting addressed, which is good. And then on the assistant coach side, it's kind of more of the same. I'm still looking. It's just, for me, it's trust and but also somebody that's going to challenge me. So I'm not making a knee-jerk reaction and hiring somebody that I'm not comfortable with or I don't trust. So it's taken more for me to do, obviously, and to some degree I need some help, but I'd rather make sure I make the right decision than a rushed one. So.
Hey Josh, so we're approaching a year since you actually first came to Macon, and those first couple games you started off really hot. I think you had 5 points in 3 games, but so since then, what do you think you have learned, and what kind of role and impact do you think you're able to have on the team now?
Yeah, I think the beginning of this year has sort of been a wake-up call from that. Obviously, that was in the past, and that was last year's team, so I can't say I was expecting to produce at that clip quite as much, but that's kind of the game I want to play. So it's been a learning curve for sure, not seeing the puck go in as much as it did when I first got here. So I think just staying confident and not getting down on myself is a huge thing. I think trying to add parts of my game and improve parts of my game, playing away from the puck and playing D side more is going to turn into more offense and eventually goals and offense will come from that. So.
To kind of follow up on that a little bit, last year when you were here, you clicked really well with Trask and Seymour and seemed to really find a good chemistry with them. They're obviously no longer here, and was curious, as you've been kind of bounced around, on lines and stuff like that, as a lot of players have, but has there been anyone in particular that you feel like you've gotten some chemistry with that would help bring back some of that production?
Well, first, I'd just like to say that I think anybody would have a lot of production with those two. Those two are pretty good players in their own right. It's a good question. I don't think there's any 1 or 2 specific guys that I think I gel with or have a lot of chemistry with in particular. I think it's my job to try to develop chemistry with all the forwards and guys at every position, center, right wing, whoever. I don't know if I can just give you 1 or 2 guys. I think our power play's been moving the puck pretty well. Last weekend, or when we played the 3-on-3 against Pensy, I thought our power play moved the puck pretty well, and so guys like Seas and Ortiz, even Cupper at the point, I think those guys running power plays can move the puck pretty well. But I just try to play a complete game and try to be able to play with everybody.
This one's for Ben. So obviously Fayetteville presents a pretty great challenge. You guys have played them, I think, twice this year, and you guys have skated pretty well with them, but haven't gotten a win yet. So what do you look forward to the most, having two opportunities to play against these guys, and what do you think the team's overall attitude is with having two opportunities to finally get a win against them?
So I don't think I was here against Fayetteville. I think that was before my time. But I did have the opportunity to play against them when I was in Knoxville. And I know that they have a lot of size and skill and speed, at least up front. So I think we're definitely going to have to slow them down in the neutral zone, force them to dump pucks and get back to those pucks quickly as a defensive core and make a good first pass to get some clean entries and out of our zone quickly and into theirs. But we're excited to play another top-end team. We were happy with our results against Pensacola last weekend. Obviously, we would have liked to get that extra point on Saturday night, but the opportunity to play a third-place team or whatever there are is, if we can string a couple of wins together, we can kind of put the league on notice that tough times are behind us and we're moving forward.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. That was an excerpt from our last episode of Line Change with Coach Ryan Michael and player guests Josh Keplinger and Ben Campbell. We hope you enjoyed listening to it. Apologize for the extended delay. There's been an issue with the ice here at the Macon Centreplex in the far corner of what was the Macon zone during period 2 and what will be the Fayetteville zone during period 3. Near the Coca-Cola, Monster Energy, OT Sports dasher boards, there's some ice that's not cooperating very well. It looks like it's pretty chipped up, so some members from the rink crew here at the Centreplex were tending to it and trying to shave it as much as they could to make it as smooth as possible going forward to close out this game. So they added about 6 or 7 minutes to the intermission time. So that's what instituted that delay in the third period puck drop. Right now, Zach Smith, the director of game operations, is out with the 3 officials looking at it. Kudos to the rink crew for doing the best job that they could, as quickly as they could, to make sure that we could get third period underway before too long. The coaching staffs for both teams and all the hockey ops staffs right now are back on the benches. We're just waiting for the players, and then period 3 will be underway. Right now it's a 3-2 Fayetteville lead. They seized control at the end of the second period, overtook the Mayhem in both goals and shots. They were trailing 2-1 for the bulk of period 2, but came away in the closing minutes with a pair of goals, one on the 4-on-4, the next on the 5-on-4 power play. Fayetteville finally scoring on the man advantage. They looked very good on their second man advantage. Had a couple of close calls not go their way, and they redeemed themselves on their third opportunity. Third time was the charm for them on the power play. And with that go-ahead goal scored by Captain Max Cook, the Marksmen have regained the lead, and it's 3-2 heading into period 3. Both teams going back onto the ice to get set for the closing stanza. While we've got a second, let's look around the SPHL for the most up-to-date out-of-town scoreboard update we can give you. Roanoke is in a barn burner right now with the Birmingham Bulls. It's a 5-4 lead that they hold with time winding down in regulation time. A back and forth game with plenty of twists and turns. Right now the home side up by a single goal. The Knoxville Ice Bears down by a goal at the hands of the Huntsville Havoc. Out in Knoxville tonight, 2-1 the score early in period 3. Quad City hosting Peoria, a 2-2 score in that game with 6:38 to play in the second. And finally, Pensacola was the late game start tonight at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. The Ice Flyers, led by Rod Aldoff, have a 2-0 advantage over Jeff Bess and the Evansville Thunderbolts. That wraps up your second intermission out-of-town scoreboard update presented by Hampton Inn & Suites. Again, this game favors Fayetteville by a 3-2 score. That is the score by which the Marksmen defeated the Mayhem back on opening night. They defeated the Mayhem by a 4-3 score on Saturday, December the 7th. Both times were by a single goal. The Mayhem looking for retribution tonight and to prolong their already franchise record-setting 5-game winning streak to a 6th with 2 points this evening. Alex DeOliveira has the puck in his own zone and sends it to his D partner Jarrett Cupp, who gets it quickly back from Josh Cousineau. Sends a diagonal pass to Lynch at the red line, who redirects it to Dylan Denemy at the opposing blue line. Fayetteville takes over. Keelik will dump it into the right corner. as it slides its way slowly across the Macon goal line. Sean Lynch awaiting the outlet pass from De Oliveira, who's got to turn back. He was pressured by Taylor McCloy, and out with it skates Jarrett Cupp down the right side. The smooth skating defenseman has been on a roll. He's got 6 points in his last 7 games, most of which have been assists. He's now 3rd in the SPHL in assists by a defenseman, with 13 on the campaign. It's dropped to Larry Smith, who slips away from Tim Keelik and then punches one up to Stepan Timofeyev, who will enter the attacking zone on his off wing and float one into the glove hand of Trevor Gorsuch, who makes the save. Timofeyev, the reigning Federal Hockey League's Rookie of the Year, now the Federal Prospects Hockey League. It was then known as the Federal Hockey League. Timofeyev, while he was there, played on the left wing for the bulk of the time. Now he's on the right side. Grew up idolizing the likes of his countrymen Sergei Fedorov, Slava Fetisov, and the other Fab Five as Pawlowski hammers a one-timer from the left circle. That's stopped by Trevor Gorsuch in the butterfly position. Trying to think of who the other 3 were. Slava Kozlov, Igor Larionov, and Vladimir Konstantinov, if I'm not mistaken, making up the Russian Fab Five. When I asked Stepan Timofeyev who his favorite NHL player was, he answered those 5. Darius Davidson is defended by Larry Smith. He will try to slide one past Smith, who eventually catches up to it, backhands it off the end wall, past Ben Campbell, far side. Puck comes loose to Bednard, left circle, who shoots, and a huge glove save is made by Kevin Entma. Remember that stop. Bednard coming down the left circle, virtually uncontested. Tried to snap one upstairs over Entma's glove, who made the snag. Shane Bednard set up the equalizing goal, which was scored by John Gustafson in the later stages of period 2. Bednard, a 25-year-old rookie out of Bowling Green, played 7 games with the ECHL's Norfolk Admirals this season. In the far corner now, it's Matt Robertson, who's pinned up by Larry Smith. The puck comes free to Ben Campbell, who attempts to one-hand it up the far wall. It ends up sliding to Cousineau, who fires it off the stick of Lynch and into the Fayetteville zone. Good size hit thrown by Dylan Denemy into the near corner. And Cousineau at center. Has to pump it back into the Fayetteville zone. It's gloved down by Travis Jake, who circles with it and will slide it up the far wall. Jake is then flattened in front of the Fayetteville bench. Turnover in front. Kevin Entma makes a big pad save. Loose puck in behind the net, and Matt Robertson fights for it. The Mayhem escape with possession. Zemlitska slides it over to Dylan Denemy, who was in the middle of changing lines. He had no choice but to play it in that scenario. Pirog kicks it too far into his path as it's flushed out of the slot from the marksman. Bowen sends it rink wide off the stick of Bednard, far half wall. It's Alec Marsh down to Bednard, far corner. He's pinned up by Marcus Ortiz. Jarrett Cupp helping Ortiz out at the moment. Alec Marsh in there fighting for the puck. Alex De Oliveira sends it as far as Stathis Soumalides on the near side. The marksmen come away with it. The pass back to the line for Oliveira was intercepted by Pirog. Here's Ortiz over the line. Soumalides left circle. His shot misses the net. And a penalty will be called against Fayetteville, however, as Soumalides was hooked on the way through. And the Mayhem will be going to the power play. And that's perhaps why you saw the indecision on Soumalides' part. Couldn't quite tell if it was a pass over to Pirog or if it was just a shot that trickled wide of the right post. But if I'm not mistaken, that lack of velocity on Soumalides' shot attempt was due to the hooking infraction called against Darius Davidson. This is just his 2nd penalty of the season through 19 games. This being the 19th. So the Mayhem will go back to the power play. Fayetteville scored on its 3rd man advantage. Can the Mayhem return the favor? Don Oliveira is able to clear right off the draw. All the way down, Entma's out of his net, has it on his stick, and banks it off the boards to Dylan Denemy, who's got a point on both of Macon's goals. He scored the first on a shorthanded breakaway and assisted on Ortiz's. And he will drop it off right circle. Pirog's toe drag fails. It's been taken away from him and cleared. Off the high stick of Marcus Ortiz, but played by Tim Keelik, so play is allowed to continue. Jarrett Cupp has it behind his own net. Jarrett Cupp on the breakout for Macon. His pass goes up the middle. Ortiz didn't see it. Cupp's going to reset now at his own blue line to Ortiz. Coughs up possession, taken away by Cook, who delays, tries to slide it over, broken up by Ortiz and recovered by Cousineau. 16:33 to go here in the third period. The Mayhem already with nearly half of their power play having expired. This Macon power play has been brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe as Cup distributes it to his right for Keplinger. He slips to the outside, bounces away from a check, and spins. He's got Pulowski with him. Pulowski is unable to feed it back to the line to Zemlitska as Max Cook was there. Kuzno receives a long pass from Kevin Etma and fires it off the stick of Keplinger, who goes in after it in the far corner. Etma is pinned up to the wall by Oscar Arfelt, and the Marksmen have again cleared it. It's rattling around near the blue line and scooped up by Josh Kuzno. 32 seconds on this power play. Kuzno begins to pick up speed. He flies in across the Fayetteville blue line and attempts to dish it off to his right. It went off of a Marksman stick. Keplinger lunges out with that 6'2" frame to maintain possession for the time being, but the Marksmen have again whacked it all the way down. This Mayhem power play has generated next to nothing in the offensive zone. Zemlitska will have one last opportunity. Sends it off his own backboards, and Timofeyev will scoop it up, and that power play has come to an end. The Marksman 3 for 3 on the PK tonight. Pirog sidesteps a check, then shoots while falling. A butterfly save is made, but the puck is held in at the point. Zemlitska left circle, had a shot go off a leg. Davidson blocked it, and Lindstrom muddling things up in the near corner. He's knocked down by Oscar Arfelt, and the Marksman attempt to clear. It fails. Zemlitska left point, had his shot blocked by Max Cook, who slips it out to the Mayhem logo at center ice. The pass broken up by Davidson. He counterattacks. Davidson shoots, missed the right post. And now it's Pirog, far half wall. Trickles one through. Timofeyev, right side, joined by Lindstrom and Campbell. But he lost the puck. Cody Schwartz is able to clear it up to the near side, and it's Alec Marsh who overskates it, recovers, turns it over at center. Here comes Pulowski, the other 17. Down the right side, met by Josh Victor in the far corner. And now exiting his own zone is Brian Bowen, who sends it behind the stick of Marsh. Looked like that might have gone out of play just for a second. Play is allowed to continue. Darius Davidson, I beg your pardon, David Pulowski down the left side. Had his shot blocked by Davidson. And now turning with it is Stathis Sumalidis, who's trying to escape the reach of Taylor McCloy. Oh my, Josh Victor kicked it up the wall and was absolutely leveled into the half wall right in front of the Fayetteville bench. Pulowski goes down to a knee but manages to will the puck across his own blue line. Sumalidis fires from shy of the red line. On net though, so no icing. Don Oliveri has it behind his own net. He goes up the middle with it to Brian Bowen. Bowen's pass is received by Johnson, who slams on the brakes at the bottom of the right circle. He will backhand it to Tim Keelik. Garrett Cup, near corner, 13:25 to go in the third period, which has cruised along so far. The Mayhem still trailing by a goal. Kuzno trying to punch one through. Oliveri disrupted that. Cup goes back to Zemlitska. His pass is red, but it escapes the reach of Nicholas Sage. Now it's Oliveri who will fling one into the Macon zone. Rolls down the slot. It's Wojtek Zemlitska banking it off the boards right to Sean Lynch. Good pass. Here comes Chamello storming in. He fires, misses the left post. There's a huge burst of speed from Michael Chamello and a good crisp pass from Sean Lynch to set him up in stride. Alex De Oliveira. His pass reached Chamello. Down the right wing, defended by Jake. Chamello's shot is fought off by Trevor Gorsuch. Puck again flies up in the air and out of play. It goes over the glass, and flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. We've not had very many whistles in this third period, but that's one of them. 3-2 the score in favor of the Fayetteville Marksmen. The Mayhem coming close to leveling on multiple occasions here in this period, but have just not been able to do it. Michael Chamello probably with the best opportunity of period 3. He was fed a good pass along the Fayetteville blue line by Sean Lynch around a pair of Fayetteville defensemen, and Chamello just bursted in with tons of speed down the right flank and just sent it wide of the left post. So an update on the woman who was unfortunately struck by a flying puck that was fired out of play from the neutral zone and just wide of the right side of the protective netting. I'm told that she was hit in the face by a flying puck. and that there was some blood, and immediately Macon's trainer, Josh Hoffman, ran up to see to her, and Fayetteville's captain, Max Cook, skated over with a towel to help contain the bleeding. But she has not returned to this game, and we hope for the best for her. Very unfortunate what happened. As it stands right now, they're doing a CT scan at the Beverly Knight Olson Children's Hospital nearby. Here's Shane Bednard below the Macon goal line, fed up to the blue line for Lesage, whose shot is handled by Entma, and I don't think he quite had it in his glove, but enough to draw a whistle from the referee, Cody Helbig. Sort of bouncing around just around the edge of his glove, it looked like, but the referee lost sight of it. 12:08 to go here in period 3. Fayetteville maintaining its 3-2 advantage. Both times they've beaten the Mayhem in this building this season have been by a single goal. David Pawlowski winning the defensive zone draw. Ben Campbell receives it below his own goal line and will punch it up to Sumalitis, who has hacked it out of the zone. Nice move by Don Oliveri at center to commence a counterattack for Fayetteville. Tees up a slap shot blocked by the stick of Campbell. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. 11:54 to go in the third. 3-2 Marksmen. The faceoff will take place in the far circle of the Macon zone to the right of Kevin Entma. Don Oliveri, who just took that last slap shot, is the one who scored the game-winning goal against Macon in these teams' last meeting. Max Cook against David Pawlowski in the far circle. Won by the latter of the two, and Pawlowski backhands it wide of his own net, off the backboards, and now it's Stathis Sumalitis down the left wall. He spins a pass on and off the stick of Pawlowski. Ortiz enters the zone on side and twists a shot on net that's handled by Gorsuch. We'll take a whistle. The Mayhem get an offensive zone faceoff opportunity, and Ryan Michaels sends out Dylan Denemy, who's had an enormous return to Macon. He's got a point on both of Macon's goals, including a shorthanded strike, which was the first shorthanded goal scored by a Mayhem player in over a year. The last time it had happened was in November of 2018, and then he had a primary assist on Marcus Ortiz's goal. It's the 10th shorty in Mayhem franchise history. He's got it now in the slot, drops it to the line, cup to Smith, left circle, slap shot, goes over the crossbar. I think it was partially blocked by the stick of Taylor McCloy, who leads the SPHL with a +19 rating. Very good defensively. The alternate captain. Ripped around by Trevor Gorsuch, and it rolls out past the red line at center. Larry Smith covers a lot of ice, but he gets to it before Tim Keelik could. Well, here's Sean Lynch. You will accelerate it over the blue line. Pass it to himself off the near half wall. Get some help from Dylan Denemy battling for it, but it pops free, and Tim Keelik will skate it out of harm's way for Fayetteville. He slides it to his right for Oscar Arfelt, entering the Mayhem zone. Arfelt drops it, and a backhand shot taken by Alec Marsh goes wide of the net. Dylan Denemy was hooked, couldn't quite exit the zone the way he wanted to, and was unable to draw a penalty. As Marsh's backhand shot from the right circle is denied by Kevin Entma. We're approaching the halfway marker of the third period. 10:41 to go, 3-2 Fayetteville. So Denemy was either hooked or slashed on the hand. He was shaking his hand in front of the Macon bench after taking that stick to it, and hopefully he's all right. Fayetteville fortunate there was no call. The Marksmen winning the offensive zone faceoff, but the Mayhem swarm it immediately. Ben Campbell is able to clear it. Jake pounces on it and sends it back in below the Macon goal line. Zemlitska far corner. He's met by Max Cook down there. Pirog spears it away from Cook and gets a return pass. Pirog passes it to himself, gets around Travis Jake, cuts to the front of the net and centers it. Goes off the side of the goal. Keplinger was there. He turns with it, puts it in front for Pirog, goes all the way through. Campbell tees it up, fires it wide of the goal, and now it's Keplinger far side. Josh Keplinger tried to put it in front, bounces off a Fayetteville leg, and now it's Cody Schwartz who's able to clear it for the Marksmen. Brian Bowen out at center. It's defended by Ben Campbell. Campbell spins back with it and gives it over to Alex de Oliveira. We've crossed the halfway point of period 3. 9:50 to go. The Mayhem still down by a goal. Campbell takes a look from behind his own net, will allow Stepan Timofeyev to pass through. Then Campbell, the Duluth, Minnesota native, banks it up to David Pawlowski, who redirects it into Fayetteville ice. Nicholas Sage is hit. Here's a centering pass. Sumalitas fires, kick save by Gorsuch. And now it's Pawlowski who's knocked off the puck by Don Oliveri. Close call for the Mayhem on Stathis Sumalitas' one-timer from the left circle. That's really his sweet spot, and he put it really where he wanted to for the most part. Just a better save was made by Gorsuch. Sumalitas spins away from a hit from Darius Davidson. Stepan Timofeyev lobs one into an area. It's going to be Sumalitas picking it up, gains some speed down the slot. He shoots, and a save is made by Gorsuch. Sumalitas denied for the second time on this shift. Now it's Cup receiving the pass. From his backhand, twisted in front. Trying to turn was Pawlowski, had it hacked off his blade. And the Mayhem will skate to the bench for a line change. Dylan Denemy is in the F1 position with Don Oliveri with possession behind his own net for Fayetteville. 8:40 to go at our next whistle. We're going to head to our second media timeout of this third period. Tim Keelik flies down the left side, goes wide on Alex de Oliveira and circles behind his own net. Fires it ultimately over the net. Back to the left point, it's Josh Victor. Couldn't get his shot through. It was blocked by Zemlitska. And now it's going to be Josh Kuzno trying to fling one ahead. It would have been Dylan Denemy, who was lurking behind enemy lines. Could have had a breakaway, but the pass was intercepted. Cody Schwartz down the left side for the Marksmen. Carry it in behind the net. Lost possession of it. Oliveira sends it the other way. Lindstrom in a foot race. No icing here. It's played by Trevor Gorsuch below his own goal line and worked up the wall on the near side of the ice. Pirog sends it back to Campbell. Goes past him. Entma floats it over the stick of Robertson, and Keplinger will dump it into the far corner. Travis Jake for the Marksmen. Schwartz bouncing one off the X-Dashers in the far corner. Blasted around to the near side. Josh Keplinger puts it into his own slot, redirected by Lindstrom out to Cup on the far side. We'll try to fire it into the offensive zone. The Marksmen have taken care of that themselves, but Schwartz has possession behind his own net. The Mayhem in the midst of a line change as Keplinger forechecks. Here comes Cook down the other way. He's defended by Cup. Cup does not allow Cook to finagle by him. Bowen will set one up for Josh Victor on the far side. Cook's pass back to Oliveri was picked off by Keplinger, who is at the end of a shift. Timofeyev cuts to the inside but loses the puck. It's been hoisted off the glass down into Macon territory. Larry Smith has it. He spins. Will punch one up the near wall for Stepan Timofeyev. He sends it off the Ortho Georgia Dashers on the far side. Sumalitas is there. Had a good period so far. Long point shot by de Oliveira is gloved by Trevor Gorsuch. He's able to track that shot through all the traffic. 6:27 to go in the third. 3-2 Marksmen. Stathis Sumalitas with a pair of grade A opportunities. He had a one-timer set up by David Pawlowski from the left circle, on the bottom of the left circle, which was kicked aside by Gorsuch with a huge reflexive save, and then also had a breakaway. He fed a nice pass by Stepan Timofeyev, and Sumalitas came in on a breakaway down the slot and was denied by Gorsuch as well. Sumalitas played in 17 games in the ECHL last season between the Florida Everblades and Norfolk Admirals. He's an alternate captain for the second straight year here in Macon, the only remaining player from last season's leadership corps, consisting of Jake Trask and John Seamer. The three of them all wore A's on their sweaters, but nobody wore the C. The first time in franchise history that was the case, and as a result, Stephen Pirog, when he was named captain, was officially the fourth captain in Mayhem franchise history. They'd had a different one in every season, besides, of course, 2018-19, in which they had three alternates. So Sean Lynch steps in to take a critical face-off in the right circle of the Fayetteville zone to the left of Trevor Gorsuch, who's played masterfully in this third period. He wins the draw, does Lynch to de Oliveira, right point. Can't get his shot through. It's salvaged by Lynch, flung off the corner boards on the far side, scooped up by Travis Jake. who will one-hand it up the wall on the near side. Tim Keelick gets it to John Gustafson. He's got a pair of goals on his stick tonight, and it kicks off the stick of Entma and scooped up by Larry Smith. We'll carry it down the left side, send it rink wide off the bench boards, and now it's Tim Keelick taking it back into his own zone. We'll shovel it over to Cody Schwartz, a German-born defenseman, up to McCloy, who redirects it into the Macon zone. Zemlitska's got it with 5:50 to go, and his team trailing by a goal. Wojtek Zemlitska slides one through. David Pawlowski put it in across the Fayetteville blue line. The Marksmen in control of it. There was a net mouth scramble there for a little bit as it was between the skates of Brian Bowen. I'm not sure he was aware of where that puck was exactly. Sumalitis to his countryman Wojtek Zemlitska, who backhand it on towards the Ortho Georgia Dashers. Brian Bowen will exit his own zone. He lofts it up in the air near the right circle of the Macon zone. Pawlowski's all over it. Bowen takes it away from the corner, sends it wide of the net. Timofeyev pounces on it on the far side. He spirits a pass ahead to Sumalitis on the right wing. Sumalitis puts on the brakes. He fires from a tough angle. They score! Stathis Sumalitis put it on net from a tough angle. It went off the stick of Stepan Timofeyev, who was in the crease, got just a piece of it, redirected it past Trevor Gorsuch. And the Mayhem have tied this game up with just over 5 minutes to go. It's 3-3. Boy, the two of them had just been setting each other up all period long. Stathis Sumalitis, Stepan Timofeyev, they had given each other chance after chance. And all period, it's either been Trevor Gorsuch denying them or them just missing the net. And it's only fitting that the two of them clicked to tie this game up in period 3 with just over 5 minutes remaining. Timofeyev with the goal, Sumalitis with the assist. Chamello pursuing the puck in the left corner. He wiggles it free to Stephen Pirog, who sets up shot behind the opposing net and attempts a Svechnikov-like play. Long point shot by D'Oliveira gets blocked. Pirog twisted on goal. It's denied by Trevor Gorsuch, and we're going to head to our final media timeout of period 3. 4:26 to go in the third. 3-3 your score. Timofeyev with the goal. Sumalitis and Pirog with the assists. That's Stephen Pirog's third on the night. And he has retaken the lead as the team's leader in assists this season with 16 on the campaign. We're going to take a brief pause on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. 3-3 your score with 4.5 to go in the third. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Are you looking to raise some money for a cause and have a blast while doing it? The Mayhem would be happy to help you out through our fundraiser program, available for all home games throughout the season. You buy tickets from us for $10 each, you sell them for $15, and you keep the remaining $5 per ticket sold for whichever cause your heart desires. If you were to sell 50 tickets, for example, you would collect $250 for your fundraiser. Call our office at 478-803-1592 for more information.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Well, we are in for an intriguing ending, to say the least, here at the Macon Centreplex. It's been a hard-fought battle by two teams jostling for positioning in the SPHL standings, two teams who have built up quite the rivalry in recent years. The Mayhem still looking for their first win against the Marksmen this season. Right now, they've got a 5-game home winning streak on the line and are tied with their rivals. 3-3 the score with 4:20 to go in period 3. Taylor McCloy races down the right side and across the Macon blue line and swivels all the way behind the Macon net. Sets up Arfelt in the slot. He fires. Entma the save. The Mayhem scramble to try to clear it. Sean Lynch is all over Arfelt, but the Swedish defenseman did an excellent job holding the puck in the attacking zone. Now it's John Gustafson. Gustafson carries it into the far corner, protecting it nicely. He backpedals into the slot and is watched carefully, then floats it into the right corner where Jarrett Cupp will attempt a soccer one along the boards. He is eventually able to work it out to Josh Kuzno, who wobbles it towards the red line in the neutral zone, and Travis Jake is there to take it away for the Marksmen. He had a shot go off a Macon stick and out of play, so that flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. 3:37 to go in the third. The Mayhem will get a fresh 5 out there for this defensive zone faceoff. Well, a fresh Yes, there will be a fresh 5. Josh Kuzno decides to skate back to the bench as well. Shots on goal back in Macon's favor, 34-27. They've been fairly dominant in that department in this third period. They were trailing by 3 in shots on goal before the period started. Long point shot redirected, steered aside, off the half wall, near side, picked up. Sumalitas has it and will work it up past Stepan Timofeyev. It's recovered by the Marksmen, however, at their own blue line, and Robertson will just bounce one all the way down. No icing. Entma's got it. And will feed it to Larry Smith on his left. Smith up to Sumalitas. Sumalitas across the ice. He goes to Stepan Timofeyev, who will bounce one in behind the net. Sumalitas wins the battle, kicks it up to his stick, has it on his backhand, will work it to the line. One-timer by Smith. Chest save. Rebound. They battle away for it. It's loose in the crease. Finally, it's whacked out to the top of the right circle. Ben Campbell's shot rattles wide of the goal, and the Marksmen are able to clear. Here comes Fayetteville, 3-on-2. Max Cook, Brian Bowen. He centers it. Here's a shot, gets blocked. Good diving block made by Ben Campbell. That was a huge effort by the Nichols College product, and the Mayhem get a fresh 5 out there with 2:40 to go in regulation time. Oliveri punching one to his right. And Dylan Denemy from the neutral zone fires it just wide of the right post. Played by Josh Victor in the far corner. Scrapping away against Victor is Denemy and Chamello. The puck ends up going off the glass and out of play, so we get a whistle and a stoppage in play with 2:19 to go. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. Time winding down in regulation on this one. Remember what we said in the pregame show, folks. 6 out of Fayetteville's last 8 games have gone to overtime. As for the Mayhem, they've been engaged in some close contests of late as well, with their last game in Pensacola going just 11 seconds away from a shootout ultimately, and it was decided by Jesse Kessler in OT. Josh Victor is able to clear it. Here come the Marksmen down the left side. Keelik, toe drag, slides it across. It goes all the way across into the right corner. And Nicholas Sage has it at the blue line. He is stymied. He couldn't advance it down the boards. Jarrett Cupp trying to advance it back out into the neutral zone, and he does. Bednard got rid of it, and Alec Marsh puts it back across the Macon blue line. Cupp clears it. Oliveri sends it over. Cody Schwartz hoists it into the Macon zone. Jarrett Cupp able to slip one through as he carries down the left side. He's joined by Pirog in the rush. The pass was intended for him, but he was surrounded on both sides. Shane Bednard is able to float one out to neutral ice. Here's Josh Kuzno entering on his offside. He will carry it into the far corner and spin with it. Waits for some reinforcements to arrive from the Macon bench. He sets up Lynch, whose shot is blocked by a Fayetteville stick, and it's been cleared out to the Macon blue line. 1:18 to go here in period 3. Marcus Ortiz down the left side. Leaves it to D'Oliveira, who will bounce one in on net from center ice. It's kicked aside by Trevor Gorsuch. Had to be careful with that one. Those are tougher to save than they look. Comes John Gustafson, very dangerous, a pair of goals in his Marksman debut tonight, looking for the hat trick, but he's denied by Entma with a stick save. Max Cook going back to the line with it. It's coughed up, and here's a breakaway. Marcus Ortiz down the slot. Ortiz shoots, pad save made by Trevor Gorsuch. Puck was coughed up at the blue line by Josh Victor, and Ortiz nearly put the Mayhem in front by a goal in the closing minute. Ben Campbell in across the Fayetteville blue line, leaves it. Ortiz shoots it, floats over the net. Sumalitas from the far corner out to Campbell, far point. To Smith, it went between his skates. Larry Smith has it. He's pickpocketed. Here comes Bowen with Cook on a counterattack. Cook gets it back. Bowen gets it right back from him. Good give and go pass on the scissors entry, but the Marksmen can't capitalize. 22 seconds. Sumalitas right down Main Street, fires from center ice. It's gloved by Gorsuch, who's able to work one back out to center ice off of a Fayetteville stick. Blasted back in by Campbell. Right now it's in behind the Fayetteville goal line. 8 seconds. I think both teams will be happy to take a point from this one. They certainly have both earned it. 3-3 your score, and we're headed to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. The Mayhem in overtime this season, 0-2. In shootouts, they're 1-1. Fayetteville in overtime, 2-4. In shootouts, they're 0-2. This is now 7 of its last 9 games for the Marksmen going to extra time. Like we said earlier, they are certainly a very competitive team. In terms of regulation losses, they're tied for the fewest in the SPHL with the Peoria Rivermen with 3. Three-on-three hockey, nothing really beats it. Shane Bednard, Alec Marsh, and Don Oliveri are Jesse Kalecki's choices to go first in this 3-on-3 segment. 3-on-3 hockey will last for 5 minutes unless a goal is scored. If a goal is scored, it wins the game. The last time these teams went to overtime was on opening night on October 18th of 2019. The Mayhem fell by a 3-2 final score. Travis Jake had his second goal of the game in the 3-on-3 overtime period and spoiled opening night for the Mayhem. Stephen Pirog will be joined by Stepan Timofeyev and Jarrett Cupp for this 3-on-3 overtime period. We are underway for extra hockey here at the Macon Centreplex. Pirog overskates it at center. 2-on-1 develops for Fayetteville. Alec Marsh, left circle, slides it over, and they score. 14 seconds into overtime. Alec Marsh has scored the game-winning goal, and the Marksmen have won the game by a 4-3 final. Like it was Marsh attempting the pass, and it got interrupted and bounced right back to him, and he just whacked it into the gaping 4x6. Kevin Etma was out of position due to the fact that he was adjusting for the pass. He just took a fortunate Fayetteville bounce. And Alec Marsh getting right back on it and backhanding it across the goal line to give the Marksmen a 4-3 win. So the Mayhem 5-game home winning streak comes to an end. Their point streak, however, is extended. They've now secured a point in 3 consecutive games and will have an opportunity for retribution tomorrow night at the Macon Centreplex. Tomorrow, of course, being Marvel Superhero Night. Anyone tuned in out there, we invite you to come on out. Tickets are available now. You can purchase them via the box office by coming by 200 Coliseum Drive right here in Macon, or you can just visit our website at maconmayhem.com. Under the tickets tab, you'll find links to every one of our upcoming games. You can click those links. They'll take you to ticketmaster.com, where you can purchase your tickets that way. 4-3 the final in favor of Fayetteville, a heartbreaking end to a very exciting game in which the Mayhem erased a deficit in the third period to force this overtime, and unfortunately could not come away with the 2 points. They did, however, get 1 point and have improved to 20 points in the standings. They've now got a record of 8-15-4. Fayetteville improves to a record of 15-3-6. Again, folks, we'll be right back with you tomorrow night, same time, beg your pardon, different time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time puck drop here on Marvel Superhero Night at the Macon Centreplex tomorrow night. Again, for tickets, swing by the box office or visit our website, maconmayhem.com. I'm going to take one last look around the SPHL before we let you get going. Again, 4-3 the final here in Macon tonight, but this was not the only game by any means in the SPHL this evening. There were 5. All 10 teams were occupied this evening. The Pensacola Ice Flyers right now hosting the Evansville Thunderbolts, leading by a 2-0 score midway through regulation. Quad City Storm, Peoria Rivermen all knotted up at 2 goals apiece. And the Knoxville Ice Bears trying to climb away at their deficit. They still trail 2-1 to the defending champs in the closing minutes of regulation. And finally, the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs held on for a 5-4 regulation win over the Birmingham Bulls. So Roanoke has crept up a couple of points. They have now seized the 8th spot from the Mayhem because they've got 2 games in hand. The Mayhem and the Rail Yard Dogs both with 20 points, but the Dogs with 2 fewer games played, so they get the tiebreaker. They're now in 8th, the Mayhem in 9th, and the Birmingham Bulls have been knocked down to last place in the SPHL. With that regulation loss, they have fallen to 7-14-4. That wraps up your final Hampton Inn & Suites out-of-town scoreboard update of this game. Again, folks, we hope you enjoyed the broadcast tonight. It was an exciting one, in spite of the outcome. If you're a Mayhem fan, Once more the final, Fayetteville 4, Macon 3, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the Macon Centreplex on Marvel Superhero Night for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Till then, Alex Von Coydel signing off, saying so long, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Friday night.